Well, but if I'm Baba Jaso Media, so we're live on OK 101.7 FM. So we're live or your partner radio stations at Daroma. Make us say you're live on NASPA Radio or London. Kuku Spencer and any team. Kuku, good evening to you. My message will call by me for back near YNT and you're live or High Life Radio, DMV Bebia, the biggest radio station, High Life Radio, Kings Jersey Radio, so pick here live, New Jersey. And I could claim to me so you're live, Migachu FM, Blazer Tony Low, and a lead team no one. France and Belgium, you're live, Adamfopa Media, Isaac is winning the team, lead squad, no one giddy. But they say, you're live, okay. And I am no the senior despite media. Abrosan kesi enimu Shippers Abeka Junction. Okay, 101.7 FM. Mr. Kojo Hansen ni DJ All Black ni DJ Ansa ena omo picky live wo hono. Nti good evening bioni ema akwaba so me so your friend me vim lady. Nene your issues akese because Pandai ehuru and those issues no must be dealt with. Pandai issue no ewo ho. Now for the first time won't talk well, it's not for the first time mom dear. This Fourth Republic, your parliament has been shaky. Your parliament way has been shaky. And do baby so I was here to me young member with boss who can fight. What you say, but fight not with intelligence, fight not with words, fight not with issues, not fight with insa. And no, they get chumsa level no. Richard Mate, good evening. I salute you. Only first person I was joining here. Thank you so much. Say, we're commenting on. Tiane, yane, first say, Yera Kingsley, Japan, Dumata, NPP for chairman. Ewo year first UK and then Bekasa NPP for chairman and so ewo DC yera Janice asaribedi akoso and then Bekasa. But then there's something also extraordinary akoso. You see, between NDC and NPP, no, I think the communication war, NDC is winning it. In terms of communication, propaganda, and talking to the people, NDC is winning that war. Communicating to the people, NDC is winning that war. And what the NPP for, even when NPP is in power, cry, or communication. Richard Chidi, I salute. Good evening to you. Kumasi phone na mechi amwate. Communication party. The NPP for need them. Eunice Donko. Good evening. I salute. Why, Sister Eunice? Thank you. Remember what joining anytime. Yeah. Opesa or joining also share with views. Be and patch mami. Why? You. Until good evening to you, Sister Eunice Donko. In terms of communication, NDC does a better job. Because now that NDC is in power and pono, NDC to me, yes, strategically communication, no? They're able to do strategic communication. Pandai in a day, I wasn't Pandai next trend, no? NDC has succeeded in diverting attention to the COVID levy Mahama repeal. And then Mahama signed a bill to repeal the COVID levy. NDC, because they are very strategic in communication, you know, where to me divert attention about BC and also meanwhile and the biggest news because of their course on run should rather be what Pandai, and so the attention should go to Pandai and Tokwa course of Pandai issues. Should be everything should be based on Pandai, but NDC has shifted assembly at the core a. We will come back to Mahama 1 year in office, but and President Mahama could sign a document to officially and formally repeal the COVID levy, no, and that has been the center stage, and then all the news near the ending. NDC has succeeded in shifting. I mean, that's the power of being in charge. NDC is showing NPP for say they are in charge. One can opposition, and opposition, you are louder in opposition because your biggest voice no is in opposition because about opposition and unya adagye to make asa na President Mama, and then the pictures have been all over or signing you COVID relief levy if you on what signing any say kutu say bam that's all hine babo no Kumasi no say kutu say bam and President Mama signing ade no meanwhile in opposition no NPP must be seen to be the loudest. At least they should be controlling the narrative because so we are busy. You are focusing on a buying. Maybe before my NDC for said you man or more. You see, it shows you how a year friend saying NPP managing communication when they were in government and in opposition. We'll come back to Pandai issue because it looks like NDC for our agenda be me what I've gathered from the grapevine, and I see Nobody should come here and if you out say when he no more the attempt did you try be careful the attempt that I cannot to change what I will say. NDC wa agenda be see this pandai issue no and can confess you NDC wa majority and then a change NDC person almost anje a year friend saying as a pandai omo ji seat ni nyina NDC wa agenda be omo who say MPP for a week and an opposition party a week. You see MPP was even weak in power in government. No, they were weak kakra but na because when you are in power no kind of blinds them be never be. So even when you move near catch MPP for mu key amongst them Gabi. Me na no me wanna Gabi cry me 3 months and if you now criticize him say yeah. And I'm not afraid to say I'm criticizing you and I'll continue to criticize you because never be in the past and kamudi juma and mamu and kanya and it's an opposition you have nothing to hold on to. And abronya modi adani atem of your people. Ni nyina ye mu weak links ni bi no. Every people weak links ni bi because in a week and KPANDAI should be the main issue no. And this is diverting attention. Yeah, repeal COVID-19 levy. Or Chile say he's in charge. NDC is in charge. They are not in charge of just government. They are in charge of opposition. They are in charge of everything. They are in charge of communication. And you see, something that will show you, say, NDC is even in charge of communication. NDC, by look at the number of communicators, or even mainstream journalists. Mainstream journalists, baby, you will no longer hold that former work now. They criticize and they are showing you how propaganda is done. This is NDC that came from revolution. Makacho say military coup be the main thing a military dictators be our propaganda. Because they must I be na Tuari or Burkina no. Everybody internationally feels that Tuari ama Burkina Faso are heaven. Meanwhile, who do Burkina insider? The Burkina base will tell you say near heaven, sir. But propaganda is a major tool of any warfare, any military dictatorship. Anywhere, what the Russia, Ukraine war, half of it is propaganda. Ukraine, because I say we need war, no Russia. So, but it is all propaganda. Go and ask the Americans when they did the Gulf War, when they did all those takeovers in Libya. It is all propaganda to make you look like Gaddafi or a demon. It's propaganda is a major warfare tool, and that is what NDC very smart they are using. And NDC are COVID relief levy. No, because very few people will talk about KPANDAI. And KPANDAI so almost on the ground. If there's anything shenanigans going on the ground, na what say? Na what? Because NDC omu a guy, NDC omu a tough. And I hope NPP for no will learn lessons because that's a power. Na kasa obetina so na kakra ko enuma na afa why you confused. It's the things that you are supposed to pay attention to, you don't pay attention to. When they are called so akotiano, it is the same frustration. And a man abrantiano akotiano depression and a team or the uno. When the KPANDAI within NPP internally, they will tell you between the last 6 months, last 1 year, I can also NPP as a party. Or move focus on KPANDAI, no more just on Beko guy nechi, no more one. What do you need? Lawyers now here, court now what's our call? How can we do the research? How can we help you defend this case? There be Omada. Omo Baomia, Canada, Japan, Omu Yana court to say Uncle rerun. I find NDC for NPP fire one, I could Gary in Macum, I could freeway, Mumpamu Mayway, Munya one, no Munya one. NDC agenda, and says, so Omu to me Jack Panda, any free because Akotia Omaje, Ablekuma Omaje. Way omojia gum party because now then it's an ego warfare. Ego no say NDC has succeeded in telling everybody say NPP a guable. I'm using a corrupted version. Person NPP for say NPP a guable. Now NPP for this is you see it's an indictment on you people. Say President Kufuor MPP. Judgment MPP. Now in the lifetime of President Kufuor, Tiasio Nyasu Otiase. President Kufuor Nyankopon sha unkwanso wate omo mo criticizing your fire bend them forget you omo abembi anyone mistaking wo you did your best forget you omo nyina say and I one be criticizing Kufuor do abontin now the people were close to President Kufuor they know how he criticized Kufuor do e kono no me homework ma so me criticizing no abontin na yesi penny odue mate Unim nyansa nche obia. Anya wona abekire President Kufuor the manner in which he should criticize. While criticizing Kufuor internally. In the whole Kufuor 8 years, President Kufuor was one of the people on tank on Wompo because of what President Kufuor Tiano. And when you people are saying, I don't know, I'm back criticizing no opinion, won't have a man of formula. Are you the one to show President Kufuor his modus operandi of criticizing the Kufuor? Opa, hey, don't forget to Kramunkoda. Don't come in. He has done his best criticizing the Kufuor. In fact, yeah, President Kufuor video no cry. Even when NPP for primaries in 2008, Saturday Kufuor bill no, so that's when President Kufuor can. I say, look, oh video way. Oh, why did I remove this video? Jeez. And he said, can we remove this video? President Kufuor did this iconic speech. Or see here, Mamu Kodi Sikechi, and or the be a cracker who said, we want to or to me Kodi a bruchia, but any they can tell Butuno so. And you people are saying, then President Kufuor. President Kufuor has been consistent at criticizing President Kufuor even before he became president and after he became president. Oh, to me, your homework, I don't go and blame the old man.
Because we by ourselves alone cannot get all the votes we need. All NPP, true NPP people will vote for us. But then, I don't think we'll make the 50% plus one fighting and that sort of thing. We have to be careful about. The party must stay together. Then, when we've seen such a person, we must also look and see when we present this person to the rest of the country, all of Ghana, he must be the type most people will look at and say, this man, when we sleep on him, we'll sleep. He's a good person. We'll work with him. That's how to get the majority, to secure the majority. So, among the candidates or aspirants coming, listen to everybody. Please, it's not the money they will bring around. If they call you, give you 10 million, and you think because of that you're going. When you want to catch a chicken, what do? You give corn. But then that corn might lead to his death. So it's not money. So the candidate that will come is not the money. Listen, ask questions, see how the mind works, look at its nature, and see whether the party will lead us all together like one family, and then after the party, the nation, the majority of the nation will accept this person.
If this is not a direct criticism of Kufuor, what is? This is President Kufuor in 2007, 2008. Sometimes now fake cry no mo kwako elect Kufuor as flag bearer. Say hey, mo to mo bo. Mo fa obi a obetimi aka mo abom, no obi obetimi divide mo. Na mo say President Kufuor be criticize that baby mo. Buso obi a okochia President Kufuor, so onko on te so criticize Kufuor. Me say penny odue mate. Said the old person will tell it doesn't change the fact that you also have a brain and you have to think with your brain in your head. And yet President Kufuor never chose to he's been very consistent criticizing President Kufuor. Only President Kufuor. In any case, President Kufuor so had to be president. So be able. And yes, any panel Maya no be criticizing the Kekon. You know Onimno. Onena from Parliament near so he knew what he was talking about. But for the rest of the Ghanaians, so your job is when testy President Kufuor about what the answer will be determine what you want. And young moment will be Ghana, there will be a person be an Emramobi. And can also criticize the say, and can also yet to say, one I bet you will be formula now. Two fear no. Obi the chair said they did. Obi the chair formula was all the criticizing on social media and ABB. Etimujano, me say. NPP for homework also no KPANDAI number 1. But the communication issue no failing. And NDC has taken charge. They've taken over. And they've been the NDC, signing of the 11, look at the pomp and pageantry. Look at even the pictures. And NDC has some very intelligent people in their government who is stand up with free war. Stand up is the chief masterminder. Now we stand up with free one of the other people, they decided to identify some key people in the media. Say, we have the brains, but we need more brains. And MPP no more power and more boys and a cry and a comedy or more. Into more opposition, or beyond or they will cut any favor to come and do anything for you. In this week, NDC, just this week, the NDC has really won the propaganda work, the communication work strategically. Right now, NDC is doing well. NDC is in a comfortable lead. Why? Because on the ground, more comfortable lead. Omo new comfortable lead. they make sure say propaganda and communication for you to believe that they are doing well. Sa na baby ati uko America, uko Europe, uko he sa na omu nyina omu ye omade. They want you to believe that they are doing well. It's okay, and one is saying modern day politics. Speaker de wada kra ono onfa mo ho speaker onfa mo ho kra. You see, and this is telling why is NDC in the symbol of the democracy. Parliament the symbol of multi-party democracy na Ghana practicing. So why would NDC be singing a revolutionary song? They are singing a revolutionary song. A revolutionary song. Revolution. Hey, NPP. Me see NDC agenda gumu party no. NDC agenda ne so omunya je pandai because omunya age ayewaso omunya age akwatia ama brantie kra famawu pandai die omuji awanhwa pandai MP no bibi beto no so wanhwa ni bibi beba mwoko. Munya very careful because you see asema Obama ba Ghana obeka che say we need strong institutions. Opposition so can hold a democracy near democracy. If you don't have a democracy, an opposition that is strong, abai betimi ayo de ope ebi ni lithium contract abai pa de ope no be sign no. But if you have an opposition that is strong enough, the nine will form, they're able to think outside the box. Baby abai ne be forget it or be cross it or be dirty eyes no. That is when the opposition be trying to is oh how anya ni yo ye ni ye how achia no tene no. You see the old trasa no onim se ne chia. That is the work of opposition. By this person go and they are very consistent. They are on target. They are on target. In the end, you may Gary Nimakuleta while or they are court. He's filed a motion in court demanding some summons because NPP for the make an grown ass or moody because this week we they have brought or ye natoshi. I mean, and an atoshi will contract and an atoshi disca. When did I brought you no send atoshi will contract? Me will be only NPP for be any send atoshi. Was NPP Eitama West MP. Now Toshi Suni Kunu and a contractor. But just because of primaries, Baku Amoko, any Guasiam person good. Meanwhile, Toshi was on the ticket to be Baomia Eranimeto. Just in Nanu York crossing carpet call a can hunty who didn't them. And I where this say. And NDC is there taking the note. Moi, I'm feel I know NDC the Gumo party. No Guno. Guno, we are NDC as sponsor CPP. And na PNC abeg the opposition party. Me say market baby and so can. Me menya prophet, but I'm an analyst. NDC be go MPP. No ma boa CPP and na PNC, one of those two parties, to become the main opposition party. And no more chirem no more tonyum no revo. Because one power no promise fear bi amukoi where promise ben. When you na donate e baomia e na donate Alan primaries pobi. Primaries kakreya amoko look at how mu did wanted just because now to share cross carpet. Of course, not every MPP member never supported by Omia, but when you were nim who dinner time where you yeno and Natoshi and you may nimu kaguno so me yatamani and I know Natoshi minimum of course by Omia to minimum. But I'm saying say more politics now more yeno this acrimonious nature of politics. Primaries you did attempt run somebody down and this is there. Nice, MSC NDC, they are the chief architects of propaganda, architects of communication. And they are already a new gumo party, no. Into we are not my friend, not to see Umbra Yoko. Now, wow, feel now, they are more, no, my friend. 4 years, no more money pressure up and down. Wow, it's about me. If you know what is good for you, one casa fra bronye, yenimsa on your boy, and you're now some man, but at least, Okasa, a influential, a friend saying, Intifrano. Nakachens on turn it down. This is an internal elections. Any life and death. Any kodiewo internal elections. And NDC chairman the good message pandai MP no man when ye. No man start and checking the BP. Oluzu pandai rerun na. Ni BP beba wan hwa no so kotwa a friend saying akwatia. That's how it's looking. That is how it's looking. NDC one for boots on the ground. And then you full soldiers you. Omo party from Penifra Panatik, Omo Pandai. Dana ye can't say rerun and no do Pandai. Who opposition? We see it in our luzu. Akotia cry or the Akoro luzu Panda. You move luzu and also a Kahama here. And Bama Papani BP Abampino. Because you have abandoned him. At fire na last minute, Gary Nimakwaya what? No, I started fire motions from all cylinders. Look at what Gary Nimako has filed in court. And he's asking the court, say, Nimo, yeah, immediately and at once. They should furnish him with those disclosures. This is the letter, Gary Nimako Troy. Let me move it well so that okay. He's saying, this was filed, I think, yeah, 15th, okay, to say America for date, now confusing me. Okay, 2026, yeah. So what he has filed, they say, whether he wants a search to be conducted in the registry of the court and endorse your finding as following. Number one, whether or not the judicial review application in the nature of a session has been served on the third interested party. If so, then when or specific data almost serving on the third party. Number three, whether or not the statement of case of the applicant has been served on the third interested party, and also he wanted disclosure. If so, when was it served? Number five, whether or not the supplementary affidavit of the applicant has been served on the third interested party, and also he wanted an answer. If so, when? Specifics. He also wants the date. Whether or not the third interested party has filed any response to the judicial review application in the nature of certiorari before the court. No. It's file any first response, the third interested party. And this is what Gary Nimako specifically went to the court. Specifically, and they are not filing, seeking it. And make us NPP for your proper homework and Kasem Wembedua. And Medu Supreme Court. And Medu Kwaya first one. Now they are going for review. Name the history of Ghana. Review and yet easy for the Supreme Court to overturn its own decision. And yet easy. And yet one here KPANDAI and make an NPP for they are on the way to lose that seat. And Omuluzu a papano. A man broken heart. A man broken heart. Ni BP NDC agenda they will collapse my party because homework now selfishness, greedy individual greed. In any case, where is the NPP national executive? More NPP national executive. I tell when you see parliament for na war. More NPP national executive. Where are you? More ebi when Baumia and ebi working. You are busy fighting among yourselves. Homework no jai. NDC ba. So mugu party now. More you go talk through. Because NDC they are in a comfortably present mama. And away a first a COVID relief level, a dear free one. They say 1 year in office. Ghana for you now say Omaya Bonekra Ghana for so moon here. Intino. NPP has to do a lot of homework so that they can overcome our goodwill. Because present mama they say any goodwill no there. Okutan 100%. NDC almost say communication and propaganda as they know how to maintain the goodwill. They know just a scandal for phobia. When a scandal, no NPP for so. When this for scandal, no to me cry. To me, poor expose this scandal, no. And also any assembly. So this is just your friend, Bim lady, if you have come here, if I understand, you feel say the analysis no deem it right. Of course, you don't have to agree with us. Only and patro, and also the liar. You have to disagree. You're right to disagree. But in attempt the patro. Nobody is entitled to attempt or abuse another person. And also no hear from. And they said they make an any Rajani so sorry, but because the agenda was purely on MPP issues. Near attempt air fly left, right, center, which is completely unfortunate. And KPANDAI so we look at KPANDAI, of course, MPP for that down. And they need to do a NDC they rule almost so cry because some catch them NDC no more primaries beba. Of course, they see a name Sebeko Harun Edriso, Sebeko Hwan MPP for there's almost determinable. The race is between Baumia and Ken. And executives Nibia can they will refrain from openly declaring their support for A or B or more fighting it out. No more for Imra. But homework. It's not the primaries that will save you. You need proper salvation. Yeah, I'm from Penifone money and entering common said, and also bet me I join also do the other. Mr. Kingsley, Japan, do matter MPP for chairman, UK, Yera chairman. Yama, good evening, Yakwaba.
If you are Joso, good evening.
But just on where there.
On your metiasi. And you may offer a crowd.
some woman yesterday. Here strong
What the
opposition.
loot to be ana?
That mean, oh, there be lot on the energy need the lot of party mean trebi that. Me akola na na papa trebi o se ko hwema me yabo ana ko hwema me. No
Why are there?
omu di ni sa na ma me sre no se udi becha lo to renam
Oh, David. You know, and you want to make
na ma me
Oh,
sre
I
no.
see.
Enti
But so
chairman
where?
e jan mbacho nyankopon adaroma nyankopon
Ede
adaroma.
nyame asipa.
Chairman as I be dia akosi a DC NPP for chairman no so be join here very soon after ya kwakohwe na Abrantie bi akom ni nro say if you have accepted a clear document that will blow your mind. Well, me document ni bebre ho na make an NDC agenda so me gu MPP. Omugu mu party na na mbo. Chairman, are you surprised by side revelation? Because me this is an intel I've picked up.
So
KPANDAI no is just the beginning of our agenda no.
Agenda no start here che. If you mama nchi atiefo nyina ene adofo a enumere omo so age adaje na omo atena omo so famu na omo ehwe yen. Se bi da bia me ka se ya na privilege bi na yen nyina yenya. Enye se yen nim nyansa sen omo a omo so ewofia omo etie yen. Enti eni die mu yen chia omo nyina na memfa kwanya odi ama me so na menwoshi your former president Owura Akufo Jaku video wo na yemano awodapa say eye fe ohwe domo a Owura papa ni fi all that day no both opposition and in government mpanimfo wo Ghana nyina dodo na ene emofra nyina kobi and the media makaze president Akufo say waye ejapade kese a ote ho edima oman Ghana se wokọ na se odine sakura keke fa waso no whisper bibi kakra gu waso keke kra na obetimi dia bobra for the rest of your life se wo ankasa wo will be a wuti asem ampa enti nyame asira no enye nipa nyina na betimi adrum pempenso a odua no na mra bi na me very concerned about how yes obi di the lack of fini sami jamfi enum timi di papa ya tem obi a ono wadi mfie wei se obeka ne wait here move forever wo kra wonim mfie no kra de wo start here free any baby a wo de ko ne baby a wo de bekwa koduro and I wish since ankola me no we no mo ye younger generation no they will find a good time to go and apologize to this man openly or me out here saying more money mu
I think I'm yes privately. I think I'm say President Mama craft friend no and then
yeah, if it's done, then it's better. But I think it would have been public as well because Omango Kanakukum and some you know, a call record forever. The tapes are there, and I think Yura Kufo Juma Waye they saved many lives. Oh my God, and that is still ongoing. We cannot take such a life for granted. And my main pajama mukram for mano.
yeah.
Na me ankasa so de no
The
fa
former
no.
president on ko na tiasi o.
Say na do
President
abeka
Mama
ho.
de say okay
Na
do
do abeka ho na Ewura Mahama so asan
yes
ex-president and was
yes
a
yes
president. Ono so da so tiase.
yes
O tiase mienu.
yes ra nyankopon kwa ma omu nyina
Omu nyina awurade mo ban na protect omu ye man na omu nya adwuma no especially Ewura Mahama de bia me ka se me I will never sit on any platform to say me ka say on faili. I believe say as I see a teacher of my Ghana and this ultimately ya dear ampano yen year yen so yen come up with proper powerful policies that goes beyond omono ni omaye and ye betinachira no ne de bia ya bompa ye say omo faili me yen so yemra power we don't do that and when your mindset is like that I just on pegana ye and I want to take this opportunity also to congratulate and memo nyanoma wo parliament na omo ye dom kumano memo mabaso because if you look at the budget scrutinization in terms of how our almost here making sure say as I say every penny it me accounted for in terms of budgeting and allocation of revenue generation I did it minor me two chema omo ejuma omo aye no for the past 2-3 weeks you could see clearly say on social media during the proceedings and all that the excepts Bible ntia yedi hu umuza mpa juma na omo yampa na omo abian kasa nso so people like Ojo Ponkroma nomne Yura Fejo Make num juma omo ye no so anyankasa and I think that is the right way to go holding the government accountable for the benefit of the people. That is why we have democracy and government and opposition, and they are doing very well.
I am a friend saying, now no, I could MP ye ase na me hu kojo pon komasu na it really touched me. I was like, yeah, abrantie, because any abrantie bia obewu no
in fact, if you are my for opportunity kakrana me san wo she akotia man nyina yakobiem ye nyina MPP aseko ne oman yakomi mission only once my sister station or Boiling Point. Many nine said then she and to us that is she about
to say prodigy. I say Mrantia and be any more platform.
Yeah, that time, yes, I remember. And Sakra, that time, now or person oba as a parliamentary candidate, and then I'm in the Kushia of a communal issues, well, near Bema, honestly, Yamin Fanica and the cra and see, Yama, and Yaminfa, friends, and Yakumi, Ekra, and see, honorable. Na akutia mine, especially na busuane ma mene ne papa ne busuane nyina awrade nchichire omure emane onhye omudin so emfama yen. It's not easy. When I watched that funeral, you could see say na nipa na wo mine mu na yemre, but nyame enkan nyina ye da na sene na busuane so for adwuma obeye ma o my Ghana.
Yeah, Chama, Mammy Musa Chama Kauba say, now I cover space never won't have a who way, more. Chama said, already up. Certificates near the end. I do screen up. Now make us it appears NDC said they move lose seats near the KPANDAI. So NDC are setting a new on the target is the more party number.
Yo, if you am a dash if I'm for Conway, so I'm in cheer when we're tea for saying I'm American. If you quite cheaper, and now the Boagana for, and be a Boagana, you'll see a bonabasun to the Bia, and the Boabas said my pa, and now we're not cosune. I'm in chairman, your penny Kingsley, so need my power, you UK, and UK and people for you, a chiamo. I'm not always in chair MPP USA for Sunina, and the Miami chapter, MPP Washington DC chapter, which a chair will be any Ghana for you now, Mutier. You fear so, but and I understand from your perspective about your feedback. But me, as an MPP member or as a party chair, I don't panic. And I'll tell you why. Okay? Because I share time, before time MPP bass, we did a lot of primaries, or a lot of primaries that went on. It's a toy and also a tuaba. We won a lot, even in the north, because we won a lot in the north, which were not typically MPP strongholds. What this tells you is that normally when a party loses power, right, at least the first year, there's a lot of grace period, there's a lot of goodwill for Ghanaians towards the party that won. So if such a party is winning elections, that doesn't say we should panic as a party or we should push the panic button as MPP. It doesn't mean yes, we shouldn't do our homework well. Yes, there were reasons for our criteria, but to push it, we should push the panic button. The party need go. I'm when the pandemic doesn't mean the party. I'm going to say we're not, which was even our stronghold, and they say you're losing most of those seats. But so these are dynamics that occur when a party loses power, especially within the first year. There's a lot of goodwill, for the party in power. But maybe I'll start from the work Kingsley ended about the work in Parliament. And I mean, so what you said, 5% now. MPP, you can't see a lithium, you pay at least 10%. Right? And you can see a lot of body scars. 10% yes, I ammonia. NDC for about 5%. And I said, but there are some laws which are 5%. Yakuetia and Matisse. I think that's an issue. Omar withdraw from Parliament. What I say, and these are some of the good things that Ghanaians are looking for. Inti, hello, if you are Timinga. Mr. Kingsley Timinga.
Yeah, Metunga, Kaza.
Okay, so maybe we can still go on. So these are some of the things that Ghanaians are seeing. Say MPP, even in opposition, we might have a minority, but Juma, because they are looking at what interests Ghanaians and they are fighting for us. As a friend is saying, I mean, a few weeks ago, about say there's a parliament, there's a WhatsApp group. CSO also any Disney. Because some of these things that are happening, then it doesn't really make sense. And now I can see that might be a reason why we are seeing some of these rulings and some of these procedures being absconded. So that clerk Pandai call parliament, who do tear someone a person with the cause. Then he didn't even follow the right procedure. What I say, but I'm not surprised. Well, if there's a WhatsApp group where maybe this like might be on, then these are some of the end results. But me, from where I sit, I don't think there's an issue where we need to panic as a party. Yes, never be break or so I anchor see your party or your party. And then Ghana forecast and co-position. But these things happen. Parties go into position, they learn their lessons, and they come back. Since the party co-position on to back, there's no way we'll have John Mahama as a president. What I say, with all the corruption allegations, on no other case, oh, you drive from the day, can never go back and be out. Can't mean to you. What I say, but Ghanaians still give him the second chance because they felt so co-position. He learned his lessons. But I say, so that is what we need to do as a party. It's not about being panicking as a party. It's about us learning our lessons as a party. And I'm pretty sure, sir, Ghanaians will see what is going on and they'll bring us back. Because never be because Ghanaians see boy abaso. Maybe if you when I want to, never be brave because boy abaso. And maybe why yes, I from the SSA.
Okay.
The SS results a buy.
Almost social
What is it? Results a buy. The Ghanaians now say okay, then they can have a results are in. But there's a lot of things that Ghanaians are now seeing. Say what we did when we were in power is what was the nation needs. President Mahama now no one to. I see innovation here to build. Opposition no innovation, but innovation you're quite as a nation. But when they were campaigning, they were lying about it. They said innovation here, baby. But now they are seeing the results of what we are doing. And so Ghanaians are beginning to realize that NPP is the party that had the ideas. Yes, there were things that didn't go well until Mboti out of power. But time is just quickly telling us that most of the things that we propose, most of our policies were the right policies that would take Ghana to the next generation. And that is what I think, sir. Well, maybe next year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, Ghana for being my power, I'm power in 2028.
Okay. Yeah, KPANDAI, but before primary so by KPANDAI because KPANDAI na me analysis na me who say no. This one because ayawaso moluzu akwatia moluzu. In fact, even before ayawaso when NPP more power I say enough moluzu poto. You know, because intina na ayawaso na mo say oh NDC ato vote I said want power. Mo dey want me ato vote now. You lost a friend saying I say enough. And akwatia so abem akwatia sa mu losing yaya ye ni nyina kan be na ma branch no fa mu a say the pressure of even seat no the systems the structures even the MPs no candidates now felt like as a party na kasa abandon omo they were fighting the battle on their own and as I say Edu Pandai so I think the party the proactiveness of more MPP as an opposition party and go some solid no manye Inti asem no call NDC and what we lazy opposition they don't know be homework ama so chairman my member or chairman case they do matter. Do you think say America there's the party is on the verge baby econo? This is not the Kufuor party, this is not the JH Mensa party, this is not my party. No. Even in the face of Rawlings, we need more seats than what you are seeing.
Yeah, I think say for nyao kind ni na no but bi ba ko pe na me no nya adwene say o say o yusu brofo bia na no kra o say o ko ba go say gu abo say dey
e gu abo that is more than just them party e gu abo
and I was say you say we are on the verge of collapsing and the gu abo and collapsing no e mienu and the gu abo means e betimi agu MPP ntimi MPP as a party, ni group party. Necessary CPP could that's what we me I am ready and commit Matthias here, but say be group party because it has become an institution that is going to be sitting forever. Ebi always a bit more do baby crown be as a name be nenko ya changes be with me about and uncle every cross so no must have done it in kakra say ye the free UGCC and ye the buyer the do progress party ni UP no money there and ye MPP. So it has been established and it's not going to go away until you maybe as I say and new good here and the guable and verge of collapse and also a very strong word as it stands as MPP as a party now. It's a very powerful organization that here and nipa titio free that kind of a reference point as to how as it means so many pedium. Yeah, you be briefing. A free busier time. It took us almost 30 years. As an yetimi as babem. Ya buy as so Juma ye obi hu president Kofo Juma. NDC be fire. Emma that time NPP crowd is okay mo as a practically be and kakra another 8 years yes have ji 2 million yetimi dia kwa na yes and buy ya. But this particular occasion of this results of this election, there, if you don't have any concern about it, and I just say, "Okra on your party, papa." We are down over 2.4 million votes. It's completely out of order, unprecedented. A BC that, and the record of NDC in terms of winning even seats to such a higher magnitude. And yes, only winning kako. But people were so fed up with us. And okre
Even
nika
in your
ayaba.
wow, backyard, Kumase crowd, they gain 5%.
Yeah. And the your party nankasa ewo you're missing your maybe yes I come back. Na yetimi sa hye ne yie foforo because baby a gina sesia no you could be only naive now we can say party no ejina na so. And you say ohwa management in terms of the structure. On say me bo parliament abaso. Because we've got the competent people who are literally working their socks off. Everybody is following them that they are working. Ejumana omono ye no. We have to have a replica of it. As I said, no so our back a party structure. Because parliament intimi sorenza nko ye panda ejuma afia. Those who are in parliament. And your assignment in this say as I say, you call Pandai, you from 1 year survey, research, you mentioned research and all that to support the base. And know your party structure, Nejuma. What you say? So, how did we get here? Is a question one might ask. How did we get here? And if you look at the party structure as it stands now, me of Fakina, me betina no mabeka. And I may kind of credits now to fear now so on Tiasia, who know, and I will say. Because party structure in your papa.
It's a national party structure.
The national party structure no a wo ho sisi ano enye papa. No kre. Wa pese o kataso obetima kataso. Na wo a wo pese o join of aki obetimi aka no kre no ama ye nya yetimi move in such a way say ampa ye behu say ye hia niam bi asese ye toto ampa. Because if you are talking about communication, where is NPP communication? Irrespective of how I did to Eddie Ababedru, and then why na what in being very proactive in terms of decision making. In terms of decision making. And I always say that in politics, so we sit back now, so we normal politics, and you always fail and play a defensive game. You need to do smart politics, one step ahead of you need to think as so sharp. Your brain should work faster. And I'm being honest. If you are also my bone, elections near the and the question I ask is that how did we get here? Because if we have the national party that was very seriously intact, up to its game, we wouldn't have gone so low to where we are. Irrespective of how Nanado are buying Nanki Kawa be a now one nipa who ye. Okay? In terms of development, a Juma Nanado Dankwa Akufo ye pa dia go my Ghana muno, a cha president go for the. In terms of development, roads, housing, hospitals, and then changes being even the free senior high school that we are talking about. And the answer me can was a minia from Miss Manchia, fetch me.
Oh, so
I think they taking me off. you know, yeah. So it's about time we sit down and reanalyze our position. For me, the party structure, me makasa me support any candidate, and I've done it on purpose. If you are say
candidates no more contest, no support you,
me support you openly, I will just vote. As a matter of fact, I'm even contemplating on not even coming to vote. I'm being honest.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, that is what I'm contemplating of now. Because you sit back and you look at how things are unfolding and you ask yourself questions. You have mentioned names. And when I came to Ghana in July for our national conference, I'm a one of your sister stations. So na me kasa say abronye omune ne nkasa no nya atem didie na odi especially Yewura Kennedy Japan atem edi Yewura Duncan William atem ene asofo atem no omu kantre no onyai ese so ojai. I said it. And no na ma abronye sorry ti amia o kan sem bia onu akuku stories e ko yin ba ye nyina e de be share me konse me ye kromfo me ye visa froster me ye this me ye that. Now look, if they were to stop him from that time, and I said it. Nobody, I even called some of these executives, nobody picked up. And I'm media understand it. Me of okay. What you see is what you get.
That's what you get.
What you see is what you get. Because you see, if you are
But I think that
seminar, oh, can say CA. As some of can say CA. Shatem Didi aye can. Owusu bampanu mu nyina enso di atem kasatia Yewura Bawumia. It's not fair. And nature atem didi ekoso because of say right from the beginning we could not stop it. And how did we even get to that particular part? Mrs. Amina Meye, national chairman of our NPP, and ka votes of 2.4 million down as deficit and Kamemi and Twaba. We shouldn't be here where we are. Democracy na no. Primary assembly maker. In terms of this presidential primaries, se mina meye national chairman e ka me maye Twaba. Asma make a very strong statement in Namamekino, and I was playing.
Because you need a leader too.
You see, democracy na here and fear. Dialogue is also part of it.
Okay.
Dialogue, a election. Baby, we are not in normal times. Now, Ubasha say, clearly, unimpasa niyamabi bububa ehu. What do you do? That is the proactiveness that I'm talking about. And so, if we have a very strong leadership that can say, "Oh, but me deliver ampana ye ebuo ho ye bu no value no na nanimu ohun kakra no personality ba ko na make I'm talking about leadership." Now ampa wutimi ehun say ampa president Kufo bi tiase na do danko Kufo ado bi tiase empanimfo atwam ko Yewura Dambotwenum ne ade akukudam ayi ye friend saying former chairman for ini ade omunyina da so ye council of elders chairman or tiase empanimfo ofie. It is a national executive. Now consultation between these people now they've gone through the mail and want me amount nancy and ha our woman China only woman ninkita who you know pay solutions and ideas, advice and free over failing.
And
As
this
some
is the
people
failing
UK
that's
chairman,
spoken.
the Council of Elder Ghana. Nana Sumpahene. Mamen Chiana Numri. Menini dinkita hon every time bia bibiba sorry I'm if say boom subia I call her. Emane tire me ekwan ayemfa so because she was executive in NPP UK during the Yewura JH Mensan time. Oni sam panimfo no Mrs. Akumanim no SK Boafo nom ne Jeba Wiamo ne sam panimfo kukudam no Chamata Krufinum and Pretum and all those people, I call them constantly. Me no mudin komo. What you say? Enti say idea efia yetimi hu say baby a yegyina nie proper critical analysis and research backup. Nya wo de feelings ni emotions na ebe ba be catch us o me nto aba. You study the terrain and make sure say visibility studies are we here, you know, at saying a hifan yegyina. And I believe that if we had such a leadership, and I idea omu farm penimfo no mpese omu gina ni nyina na who have to so obi also intention bia and omu do omu nyina kwotena dem and I say na wotwe kra na ye retreat mpo a and ye to adwene ampa na nka national executives na nkasa kra mko say oh ye de empne say ye koto aba because democracy and it was obi atimi to aba and nka ye to adwene ni ampa nka then you put it to even those people na mpese omu gina na say mumma ya adwene a ye de beko ekoyanim.
Okay.
Then omuno momu krampo be try say afi obo so omuno to adwene na afi omuno per solution to the problem, and so by the time I be kwa akoduru na wie no afi obo say wonya consensus approach bi e beba be something that is manageable.
Okay.
It's like a lesson kra na ye kona. They were all part of it. Decision making, no, baby, you bring everybody on board to have a dialogue. And the ambassador, a command say, ya share ya na me na mo ti say mesika me na mo that time no a. E ka ne na me ya ne say, e ka metimi ni o makasa ya me ate ase ne ahwe nipa ne mu duro mienu na ma kire wade ma me nya ade bi nkire osisi a ma me nye.
Okay, and
Ye raba umia.
as I read out.
Ye raba umia. Ah, it says hono twam enti we ne ye emfato ho na me pese me de ye. Ye raba umia de Yeru Akufo Addo achi for how many times? 8 years in opposition, 8 years in government. Okay? And now Yeru Canada Japan. And one mummy the leading force as we speak today. Yakoto aba we ya tefra wiase no obia na obefratre wa ba be sam yenu we hu. Sanity wiase nyina every election have two people who are the leading folks omo na lead ade no. Okay? Etika ade national executive krompo atenase. And anke yesi ye call national council ye call ye meeting ni ade nyina de ye call ya ne se san nipa mienu ye pese ye de mu mienu ko eti mu mienu ti asama me no kan ye mu mienu monko na monko loko mu ho na monko yi ba komra na ba ko na mode ne beba no ba ko ni nachi mu mienu monko make say decision na monfa mre ye eti wo monko duru ye na ape o de america ha eti ko mu mienu ti me de be si asem bi so no hu how sense I'm making here. Eti omu koba ye na omu duru dem ape na Yeru ba umia ka kire kan se oh woni bibi se ne be ya asomtwe beba enom ne ade ade ni nti wo kọ na menni wachi ti asema me no kani e na omu ba ye na omu benya sa decision ni se yayi Yeru akenere Japan ba umia ni nachi ane ya de omu mienu ekọ ye na ye kọ present kire national council na NPP ye gitu mu a me ka no kra kire ka Ghana fo be ka se sebe mpredua se ye jimifo. Why? Because Ushe Yeru Baumia, baby or free, baby or wabedru as a sitting vice president. Now a pedani mwabedru srusei. Now for years I try and walk out and say, Uncle D Yeru Kennedy Japan wachi, Niam present to Mumina. It becomes insult to Yanya party, no. Etika dialogue as a comutinasi yampa, can also much say. And communi Yeru Canada Japan ni baumia ni omo ka hunu nyina betena se yie na nka omo timia project baumia na ye de Canada Japan ata na chi na omo mienu base na ye hia no entokwa biansi.
Okay,
Okay,
baumia as candidate can
asa obian chinchim obian sa ngunachi e ka omo betimi ate ase se ya mpase ye won panimfo ofie and ye tena se twini yi ampa ka that is what we were meant to go. That is how it was. Look, me yes, so me solving if ya. Me yes solving no. And now she me deep ya Canada Japan any baumia and a damn deep in call for so montias. Baby, I'm gina nim sima gina sa kopum se beto sa ba wo yewi.
A combined a united ticket now.
Of course. Okay. Of course. And the survey no nim dey happen here. People responded because me kokasa o Miami chapter e o looting. That time name Rakwabne the appointment chain, mini opinion. And I'm a mass speech. And I'm a cassa to send Yamakasa and Satem the dear Brebena ye dino. Say ye nyine and Timmy and your unity to go to this election. Mimi dear Kamenya, Kayan fam you no co. Say a dimionu cocrana if you are mecanocrat and you win. A your effort. How do you gain the seats of look 180 something? Says yeah, yes, 80 Timmy and Sabaji Bakwaka. Now you could 87, yes, I give you a free so. Look, how do you fill these parliamentary seats? As I saw to be the bar basro, now to me near. How do you feel the over 2.4 million people that sat home? Ah, almost one month or 12 hours and no money lazy in no man to aba. Nia brebo free. After Kaka and Wabon, Nanka ya qua, and no crown on Kaya effort and your win. And ya lucky a beer, yet to me, I winnie, Kakrabi, Martin be a yaketakin near the winning this election. You see, people think, say, at the end of that table, you say, I grow. It's almost jokey. At them, the dear for no, only a jokers. Omo di atem ni free some panimfo so ekopem a form me say omo nyina ye jokers. They don't even understand what the politics is. They don't have a clue of what is happening in our political system.
I'm getting your point, Senka. A united ticket no would have saved party, all this time. I'm wasting and then talk on so that you can focus on seats,
Of course. But the Opu as Yaba Bonting now be can kekesa. Obi abekaze. Oh, I don't know say to take a year now. No. Dialogue, respectful, higher platform. I would do a bo a man penning for now or mupaso mujina no nya grodi. And tuba fa obi to say you rako fonti na me bo mudino. I coffee for him, I mean, I'm prango no money a day or Kumasim penning for kukuda my war regions, no, any a day, no more timia tinasi yampa. And no ye dialogue. Obuo maya home. Amaya very honest with ourselves. If I am the leader of our party as a chairman, that is what I would have done.
Okay, chairman.
Right now, no, they don't have a clue of what to do. I will say it and point blank. My family want the maka. They don't have a clue. Omunina bon duduana sebi. Duduana. Sabe. Duduana omwa bon. Omu nimni oso omu ye.
Chairman, and fire. But Chairman, as I do you agree with the sentiments about and the focus should be directed in areas set Pandai seats, seats and Moluzo Akotiani ade instead of Ntokana Ekoso our primaries. No? Essentially, that is this point.
Yes, so there are some aspects I'm in a dream, there are some aspects I'm in a papa penny can listen in your dream. Oh, near my baby home. You know, one I'll talk about let me free the reasons why we feel the way we are now as a party. Okay. The entire party you cannot blame any one institution, from parliament to even here as leaders of the party in the diaspora, leaders in Ghana, our government saying leader or the party structure in Ghana. You cannot shift blame from any one entity and anything you do. And I'll tell you an example. Right? How many parliamentarians president say are still by? How many of us did you know say sorry as party chairman? I say sorry, I say I deal parliament work. The point I'm trying to make it was a collective failure. So we shouldn't be sitting here trying to apportion blames. We are all part of the reason why the party is here today. And let's try and find reasons and solutions to move us forward.
Should have been bolder and more.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm saying. All of us, every facet of the party had a role to play in where we are today. That is a fact. We cannot shift blame as if it's just the party structure or just some executives or parliamentarians. We are all part to blame. Let's accept that as a party, that we are part of the failure. Then let's find the ways to move forward. You see, that is the first thing that I would say. One of the things I agree is that our party communication, I believe, is broken. And that is something that we need to fix. Because what is the news out there? It's good we are seeing, the parliamentarians fight on some of these national issues. I said that is good, but we need to revamp our party communications. But you see, about reforms in the party and smart politics. You see, I don't agree with him on certain issues. One of the things I kind of say, or no one can be elections. I understand where he's coming from. But you see, anytime that you have such a progressive collapse of any institution, the first thing that you do is you sit down and you analyze the reasons for it. Into the party committee, right? To be able to find out, say, at the Intina, what were some of the reasons? Out of that committee, and then some of the reforms that we've got into the party. What I say? Even they might not be that extensive, but we've got some reforms as a party. This time, because you expand the voting base from what it was before. Because a lot of people had a lot of issues with the delegate system. It might not be the final end result, but we've seen some progress in that. Okay, one of the reasons why a party constitution said the leader of the party is not the leader of the party, the chairman of the party is not the leader of the party, was all the issues that we saw when we were in power. So we are seeing some reforms that is going on. But so I won't sit here and say the party structure, the leaders are not doing anything. Can they do more? Yes, maybe they can do more, but to generalize, I think that's an overstretch. Okay.
But how about the point to make it structure is not good?
And you see, and the point that I making, yes, I understand. Unfortunately, we have a party where even our chairman is, and so they don't know what they're about, talking like of health. So there are issues. Don't get me wrong. There are people that can play, but there are issues. I'm not saying that they are perfect. There are a lot of issues that I see with our party, even our party structure. But that doesn't mean, they are not doing anything. That is where I deviate from where of Kingsley come. But there's something that he said, which I think, we need to take as a party. One of the things is the insults. Sure. Insults now, that isn't the party that we came to meet. The Daroches, the party, I'm not talking points, so Mokasa, Nagana 14 years. That is what we want. We have an identity as a party. And I know can say, I say any of these are swap identities. Yeah, the attempt. That's what is happening. That is the reality on the ground. And until as a party we get our identity back, because that's not what people know of NPP.
So NPP is suffering from identity crisis currently.
That's how it is, because now the new some more party, we have constituency chairman going on insulting people. We have former appointees insulting people. That is not how we build as a party. That thing needs to stop. We need to get our identity back. So we need to shun from those insult politics and focus on issues. That is how we were birthed. We've always been a party of ideas, and let's get back to that. That's what's going to endear us back to Ghanaians. On issues, let's have a joint ticket. You see, there are ways of doing this. You don't want to do the right thing using the wrong process. What you here? So you should have that premise when you are taking any decision. Okay, so I'm better now because I say, yeah. Election I call, but basically we had one candidate. The election. I told you, there was some dialogue, and we went ahead and we did that because we felt that was the right thing to do at that point. Your party is presidential candidate. Most often than not, is the president that proposes who he wants as a vice. No, between Juma. Then our national council would accept the person if they feel that the person is fit, or they will deliberate on it. What you say? So I think, even if you wanted a consensus candidate, let Ghanaians go and vote. Say the 31st. What you say? Let's know say we're not Ghana for pay. We're not Ghana because you have the two people. That's whoever Ghanaians want. That is very, very important. And our electoral database can be taken as a statistic of what Ghanaians want. It might not be a true reflection, but it's a statistic of what is coming out there. Then at that point, if the person who the elected candidate, can start those dialogues. If we think, okay, if I say, we candidate 49, can be 51. It's so close. Then as we look at these numbers, we just say, even though we're in India, but look at the numbers, it appears there's a split among the two of you. Can we have that dialogue? What I said, at that point, that makes sense. And I'm that's Obinya 89, Obinya 2. I said, yeah. If I don't even make sense to have that dialogue. And I can give you an example. If you see the NDC, my name come out of one them. What you say? So have that compromise. We're two leading candidates. But so sometimes that dialogue
ahead of
let's follow the due process. You follow due process and the data shows us this is something that works. We can do that. Yes, maybe it might have prevented us losing focus on some of these elections, but any institution that's undergoing reforms, these nuances are very, very part of it. It will take us to really break down the party, start our institutions again, to be able to get to where we are. And it's not the time to trample our institutions and just go ahead and because we think that this might be a good idea and to do it. I say, we follow the due down structures. Let's have the election. If we think say based on the election results, no, that is a good part. Yes, we can open that dialogue. What you say? So the key things that we need to focus on as a party is building our structures back, getting our institutions to work. The good thing then is say you have all this level from polling agents, regional constituencies, diaspora. What you say? Ghanaians will get a chance to show your party membership show these are the people that we want. But that is how you build the party back. Into me, I think say what of them they make and say say we all have a role to play in rebuilding the party.
Okay.
Whether it's the diaspora, go ahead. I was just saying, so whether it's the diaspora, whether it's the party in Ghana, whether it's parliamentarians, party leadership, why NPP supporter, why is NPP sympathizer, you will role to play because you can only do people so every now you have to Peter party, no, my partner funding to my pay for.
Okay, I'm looking at senior structure and TSC. I want to say to say yes, 100% say a good crowd here, but there have been issues, no. And the fact that you have lost you have lost Akwetia, which was Musit, Pandai. Do you think that Pandai any hope to me?
Oh yes. There is hope. So when you say hope will start from having the right structures. And I can say one of the reasons
which you don't have entirely 100% right structures, but you are still contesting Pandai rerun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't need to have 100% structures. What you say? Where they are opposition, you cannot contest with government has resources more than you. You won't get 100% structures. But you need to make sure say you are putting your best foot forward. The fact that only 100% resources doesn't mean say your communication, because the communication is breaking down. Maybe we can revamp that. Okay. Because I'm not panicking or pushing the panic button right now. We should between a third and fourth Republican. Now I'm coming out say, we have about 13 by elections. Out of those 13 by elections, we need 10. NDC we need 3. We did a third and fourth Republic. Then that ain't no we need 3 years. Okay. What I say is because of what we've lost. So now people are just, but if you know history, you know politics, these are traditions that happen, especially when parties lose power. What I say, so you don't panic, but you put in systematic reforms. You have to revamp your party. That's how you build an institution. Every remember, your friends saying, their friends saying, Republican Party or US. Time out, Obama winning. Obama, there's no way Republican Party will come back again. What I say, Trump buy. And Trump will say Trump buy your money chance, and Trump Lucy, and I say Trump will maybe buy and I say, not Trump sour. What I say, so it's not about, it's about how you reform yourself. It's about the ideas you bring to the Ghanaian populace. What I say, suffering catastrophic loss. It's not that devastating if you can build yourself back. So that should be the focus of the party. Let's build ourselves back, but let's not be portioning blame to institutions or anybody. Yeah, accepting blame. No, then let's move on from there.
Okay. Yeah. A time my person share a video na on about parliament. Whether this Pandai issue, no. First and foremost,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, if you look at my submission, some of my canon, and yet different from the Okayano. I was one name and Nina and the kind and one on one because I summarizing now or the other back. One, I was not say me support this year go through the process. I addressed the whole package throughout to the end of it. What should have been taking place earlier? How did we assess it? Which one was the way forward? You see, we are talking about, and now I admit this to say, and or not admission, but what some form to say, or name ya gonna say, at him did you know? If you have leadership that is very active and knows what they are doing, how could you sit down as a national party from Kofodi attempt all over the world? Now, what's only once in Biaka, only two beer to use. As a man cannot say. Because, for example, may you sue NPP UK as an example. Okay. Right now, I'm no say messages be all no more. You free a platform. So.
Oh, okay.
I took it upon myself at some point. Now, just all the file be picture be now video be a chem corny ade may you a free platform no class. Now for young fan say if we have leadership, that has issued a statement empowering all chairpersons across board, constituency, region, national, and also your friend is saying external branches. Say more obia platform, more monitor platforms no so na mo maso kama. Just that message alone. Just that message alone will empower people for them to regulate their platforms.
Okay, I know. Be see to say I brought you example. Ya mummy enu
Of
nyina
course.
agree say.
Okay.
Even
It is a
because
CC and say,
oh, to me say MPP image no asesa.
menene ya adwene 100%. Baby ya yegyina sesi ano. Oh no, menene ya adwene 100% because you see MPP na yen tamanam ye 1992 ana ye kra ye nima de kro papa na mimi ko ye police station agent na that time sana ne ye frɛ ye de ko boy. 1992 I was a police agent. Mpanimfoɔ ne yɛdi wɔ mɔkyi na ne no ɔmo ya meka yɛ area misa prempem no ne ade ne mpanimfoɔ kukudam na yɛnnim kra na yɛn youngsters na yɛsi so no yɛ ba bewura mu akyire no yɛhu mpanimfoɔ te sɛ safoɔ tunum ne ade ne president kofoɔ mu ne the ideology that they were pursuing was to fix Ghana. Obi ani adaje say ekodi obi atempa nipa da sani timi tenase say makofo NPP UK chairman de na to table so na eniema na ba kokora anim na me dia lambastin oh ya man $100,000 pounds amane dia baso on fa election wodi NPP UK more £10 kora no amasa on bedwan £10 na obi abonisire mu apagya de atare me amampa adwuma no executive even obi amawa wo ho me for telephone ringing call phone penifone obi amfa ba kokora amfa. Okay,
and this
because
is supposedly a party machinery. Isn't that make us say?
And that is exactly my point.
When you are self-inflicted,
if you are masam na me kano, you see, and that is where me baby a mijina na hwana mijina because me krana me ya MPP UK chairman no me tintina se MPP UK misbehave me stop it.
Okay.
What you say? If you want national no na say who regulate me. Now regulate constituency. Now regulate abronye. Maboni di na wo fi di obaba be di matem. I don't care about that because me cannot cry. What you say? Because
abronya emergence no any the oil no is it a creation of party national executive and its own thing?
what do you mean say if you are your own thing? Say me to us say only ma the country am me di wa bontin. It's because of some young people UK chairman in Tina me wetra wo video we say so a nkofo krampo say o mada de tie me more.
Okay.
Because of so sunu na tade ne kata me ho no. Ema me mu yedu. What you say? It is if there are certain measures in place say conduct yourself because we dey agree about what tade na togu a behave.
Okay.
If you am me boa. If you are leadership now see wo dia wo ya tetere won sa bu wachi na obi ye nya abronye nkwa na mebon dia di bebrewi ye and na no yi even miami nua atachia ensem okeka ye sabio pani enkasasa miami nua kanede Japan waka nsem bebre pen na ene edi ni nya kakra nti oba be ye flag bearer. Do we really as a party leadership executives our caliber koso mike mu ye be wie sese ai na ya se ye nyina nka mom
eti chairman minim say chairman say be dey apo betimi answer chairman Japan question no why na was o take initiative no
why na sese wo ye
because
I want to know
person say I don't know you cannot deny say because for me it's not a creation of the party but he's saying say no nipa no o from to man as MPP. You cannot deny that or your MPP ni and also your executive. And I don't know if Mako na say abronya another time no be so set the platform no so started. Why Jatum said this is not the MPP you know. In fact, me ya kola no.
And we are sitting there there no kwa na akoswa since am ba Ghana July ababe duru ha ne enani na nyina abronya da so di atemu di na atosi atem mote wo mo hwe still I okay really management no Me ka say you fail wa so to ase.
Mami Sasamu no, right? The premise is that we all don't agree. It's very interesting, sir. Kingsley appears to be, an abroad yet, and the other
No, I'm
but
not. To be honest,
no, no,
because of say, Mr. Chairman,
that
me
is
pato,
fine. That
mame
is
mrem
fine.
kakra bi wada roma, en
Go
hawa,
go
wada
ahead.
roma.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Enya me yusu abronye. Ono de na obo ne din aka say, and I said it even when I was in Ghana, me kasa odidi mata. Me ka say fidie na wo so akoto de abesi nanim na odi bedi atem no. And that is the worrying part. Nipa na
Okay.
nkasa atena se aka. Ama na otia fidie nanim ampa o. Me minis ayi, e friend saying platforms e fia wan frame say me mra me enye program a. Me ni platform a me da bia me dem sorry a me kasa sa. Eti say nipa na ya regional chairman. NPP regional chairman ato camera sinanim wa announce to the whole world say or the bedding kofatem yanso say a private anu ya private business and how ya chairman wa ha and so yen timi nkan wasem really I find it extremely difficult to understand that. It means we have no leadership, period.
Okay, chairman
Mami Chairman Kingsley, this issue that he's talking about, okay? Party now, a woman, we have structures. What you say? So be you, be BB. The first thing is you can write to the party, you can write to the general secretary. We have what say. What you say? You can attach your evidence. The general secretary, as the scribe of the party, would refer based on the weight of the allegation, would refer you to NEC. What I say? NEC be home. Some of the repercussions might be say you be suspending the pakrono. Maybe a man written warning. What I say? There are structures within the party to address some of these things. And yes, oh sorry, how free house you we are going to say or Simbabe say it may need. That is the person that
executives for
genuinely it's not always the same as that. Party leadership now this is now we are penny now who said near wrong this will be about report
of Kingsley,
no, chairman, me would have made it 2 years so keke. It you chairman as Washington chairman. Wow, member wouldn't say near maybe or ye munina mo ya way. But still, I was a leader as a chairman of Washington. You want to sit down for somebody to go and petition you before say, "Oh, but me are proactive." Now, what me call is any panel to order. So, not just a petition. Who can't just have now? Who you know? Now we want who dear cry about punish.
You see what you are saying, and idea being see your even our own party general secretary, a petition to the next.
And of course,
but you make a point, Mobi soon Casa.
Yeah.
What is it? Because you're making a point, say, I didn't know Bitinasi. The fact is, we have structures. What is it? The question that we have to ask ourselves is, are the structures producing the desired results, or do we need to reform the structures? That's what essentially what of Akinsley is saying. Say, oh, okay, maybe we might have the structure, but we are not seeing the desired results. It's FBA 7 year, Ashamun crime. That should be the focus. Because many can say, well, there are structures. If it's not me, say, I wouldn't say, maybe I brought you near you, but case what a friend is saying. Our neck. Neck will rules also. I say, be a son or make that national. Are those rules really adamant now? Do they apply to a station or can we reform them? I'll give a very typical example that happens in governance. Sometimes party people will say, oh, I say, I am Kent, my former court to address a special issue. What do I say? We can look at our party in such a way, so okay, maybe the way that we are having these issues crop up, maybe let's have an expedited way to deal with these issues. So that is how you handle it. Because the party already has tried, maybe the strategy might not be working. Or might not be working as we are supposed to see. Next year, we'll be talking now so on the proactive. You know what I say? I've seen the party chairman what do you call it? Go ahead and petition people so at them. But I said, because on the kind of know why but the point I'm trying to make is he's done it. So it tells you that vehicle is there. All the button, but maybe we are not seeing the desired results. Maybe we need to revamp that and make sure we are achieving that we've done. That is what something that we can have. That is how I will take it.
Very well.
You see, and they address BB and if you thank you for such a platform. You see, Pandai now, but what am I main show quick? Yeah, Chairman. Nia wo kan nyina no 100% me no yadwene. Now imagine say the whole general secretary a petition the disciplinary committee say adie way any constitution in this saying it's got the timelines of when crisis out na the so anyway general secretary na petition
Exactly my point.
that's what I'm cannot say. So what is the national executive also doing about the timelines now? One kasa kura umom na ukuta constitution na ukura na obeboa yam yetimi dia ye aduma no. Wo do de call ya na aduma no. What do you do? So wo de kura ye muade ya say the party na collapse citizen ye fia.
So that's what I'm saying. So we can look at reforms.
As party na collapse. Ana.
Yeah, but much timeline. Maybe an situation we're not as this. So we can look at reforms.
Hang on.
All the margin. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Say we can look at reforms. Maybe we can say, okay, to say, timelines now when I was open this yet now, me entry anymore. What I say, those are the things that we need to look at to be able to address this cancer that is going on.
I call 21 days as a 28 days. How long? Almost 3-4 months as a senior general secretary petition. That is what I'm talking about.
Very well, Chairman. I'm saying, Chairman, as I admit that there are clear issues. Someone dealing with it.
We need to be very serious. And we need to be very, very serious of how we are running MPP. We need serious people to run MPP.
I think already, and that's should send a wake-up call to executives. They better deal with the issues because any issue as a one dealing with it, it better may deteriorate further.
Of course,
yes.
But yeah, they KPANDAI and it begs the question still. Very key because I'm starting an argument. We say in a week of KPANDAI, President Mahama and NDC have succeeded in diverting attention completely to COVID-19 levy, a repeal. And this is making President Mahama's government look good. On the anniversary of say 1 year, the two Abenye were repealing COVID-19 levy. That's Obi upon 7 months, so cancel be repealing and pass 1 year through. Meanwhile, in the same day, no more Chimanson, KPANDAI, when these structures here, Mumi and Umojatum said they are wobbly, very weak. I want to say, KPANDAI, you are heading towards a very big loss. And also, very affecting more chances. Parliament already, Parliament, you are almost non-existent. More working out, it doesn't affect who they in Parliament. So, how, Chairman, as I better come starting for KPANDAI, looking at even in terms, even address the communication issues in mind. We'll be admitting, 1 year, NDC has done a very good job of positioning themselves positively. You haven't been able to do as an opposition party anything to even question their leadership. Any image, painting.
Yeah, if you're Mamika Seminchong, MPP, right? I'll take the same approach that is the current elite. And I'll tell you why. It's a party they have power, they have goodwill, but it's time that tells the performance of the party. The party, see, some power and a day 2, day 3, 1 month. And you use nobody say giddy. Gonna say, hey, Muntina baby, it's a year movie. But I say, Yamu 1 year, and we are seeing their results bear fruit. The benefits, if you are am I about say, what I say, a benefit come more position, catch and say, I'm back, and I'm saying, you buy a national Ebesano, and you got I'm saying, but I say, so this is the time that we can come out and start challenging. I'm not so worried because their fruits is going to be, the tree is going to bear fruit, and I'm seeing the fruit that the tree is bearing. What I say, never be I'm going Women's Bank, or my. What I say. So there's a lot of things that, but you don't go. What 1 month? Say we got to be Women's Bank by 1 month. Because hey, by 1 month coming there. But I say there are things that they could have done within that 1 year. Now, LGBT then on my watching, on marching, on my baby. And you think Ghanaians are fools? Ghanaians are watching all these things. What I say. So where I sit right now, no, I know the goodwill of Ghanaians for NDC is gone down, and its climax is going down. Yeah, and can go down. Let me tell you why it has gone down. So can go down. Come on, and to America, Parliament, and withdraw 5% lithium deal. No, no one passes against the laws of Ghana. I don't know about every Parliament because they are seeing that their goodwill is gone down, and now they cannot rely on propaganda to rule the nation. What I say, and that is what, as a good part, that is what we need to start focusing on. Because now, we can start criticizing. Because now we've seen their performance over 1 year. At first, in the 10 billion, I say economy to stabilize the city. Me personally, as a party, I don't support that. We at least let market forces determine the weight of the CD. But he's also an economy wonderful, so it must stabilize it. Let's look at the long-term effect. So next year by this time, let's say CD I'm 20 years, then the party will now say catch what is it? But then we just want to say, hey, CD the was now 17. So time is what actually proves the merit of anybody. And that is why I see preferably PANDAI as a case study. I always say as a party, one goes you're in a position data, you are starting from a loss.
Yeah.
Because the party that is in power has a lot of goodwill, they have a lot of resources, others they're going to use. Until here as a party, we need to be very strategic. I never come in and say maybe that strategy should have started been fighting the court case. Or say of court and sana. Maybe I do this point. Maybe that might have been something that we dropped the ball on. I'm glad Sir Gary Makwa has taken it on and now we are fighting it. Maybe we could have started that fight a little bit on. Because you said, what the parliament, your numbers, you make a decision. So we cannot fight from there. By the law courts, we can fight it. Because we are dealing with the party that has proven said, what I say, party, I know about power. For me, WhatsApp group. Oh, the attorney, money, ready, so you have an uphill battle to do. Because the party is bent on propaganda. But we have to be proactive, as I said, use the court machinery, use the court of public opinion to be able to fight some of these things. And that is what I think as a party we need to do. Jacob and I say, so finally, if the ruling comes out, so we're hoping that the Supreme Court is going to see our filings and reverse their decision.
And very likely, because usually review the Supreme Court and
no very likely. So now the party has to have structures, boots on the ground, to be able to deal with this. I still think that we will still be at a disadvantage because depending on at least some dating out of the rerun, no. But depending on the disadvantage, because we also have a presidential election coming up.
30th December. After
December. Yeah. Okay, because the reason I'm saying we are still at a disadvantage is we have a presidential election coming up in about a month. Very difficult, sir, because of BAP power, no. Very difficult, so we can marshal resources to be able to go there and campaign as one. That is the reality on the ground. In fact, because people say, oh, me Kennedy me a Ken supporter. Me supporter. So these dynamics will really play as a party to affect us.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean say we shouldn't as a party put our best foot forward. What I want to see is she need a flag bearer, and for me that is when I'm really going to be focused on the party, making sure that we are hitting this year, because now we have a party leader. Right, I say now we can form a shadow government to be able to talk on issues. They say we have a shadow foreign minister or a shadow finance minister. No, he's giving it to any because there's nothing that they are doing wrong. But that will happen when we've elected a flag bearer. There's a shadow government behind him. Then we are talking about issues. Our experts are talking about issues. So that time is going to come. But before that time, the party is in a very difficult position just because the fact we are in opposition, because of the party, not just about resources. But we are statistic. NDC, time. Yeah, 13 by elections. We need 10 and 4 quarter. We need 3. Yeah, we need 10. You want to have strong goals, but it's just the dynamics of being in opposition. What I think that is where things are. Hopefully we win Panda, and I'm praying that we win it as a party. The good will of Papa give us what you call it, that ready again if you have to go for a rerun. But see, when it comes now, all is not lost as a party. Let's focus on electing a flag bearer. Let the flag bearer have a solid force behind him and we'll be able to turn things around. Because we've seen what NDC is doing. From Gold Board, NPP initiative, go for currency. What I say? Yes, there is nothing that Muhammad Abeka said about innovation. Is what was very good. Opportunity say innovation. We are very innovative. So all the things that they are doing is building on what NPP did. What I say, and I'm glad that they are eventually building on our policies. Because now that gives us a message come 2028. Say we are the party that thinks about the future. We are the party that thinks about Ghanaians 10 years ahead, not necessarily what we want today. Until the message of vacation will be break. But so a question, Jack, I can also answer it.
I want to come back about say what's a more elected flag bearer new year, one number for me shadow government near the end, because I also think that one also comes with its own problems, because depending on how primaries will go, another part of the party now we move it too. And there will be one side of the can't show. Join them.
Mama can't change party in Monche. Okay. Also, last time, because say when there is any problem, to be able to solve the problem, you have to find the root cause analysis.
Yes.
What I say? Once you deal with the root cause, then you'll be able to solve the problem. Okay? One of the problems that we are facing with this party was trust.
What?
Trust, DDA. Trust had broken down at all levels of the party. Because when people say, "Yeah, election," and I'm a constituency chairman, election, and I'm Martin 2 a.m. and I'm mafia, when people say a friend is saying, and they got to know where a friend is saying, trust has broken down across all levels of the party. Now, what we are doing as a party, you are becoming very transparent. Some of us company affecting. What they say, being said, I'm saying more allow proxy, because they think, which I don't agree with that. Say, but I think they could have. There was a lot of ways that we could have handled this proxy. But the party will say, "Oh, because of this trust issue, near my proxy, man." I don't think that you throw away the baby with the dirty water. I think that was an extreme measure. I don't agree with it. But I'm going to catch yourself. So as a party, now we are trying to be very open, very. And as I always went into Mobi answer, Sebi Baumia, and I said Ken, and now if I come to Japan, and I do chum, and I say we Brian Champon. I mean, I'm more than so your co-election genuinely. Lucy is Martinez. What I say? Once when you so say when child went to Bema, and the mobile castle, I didn't to see me into my term. So I think the party is on the right structure to say, I see each never elections, no mention party at the Crown Enco. What I say? Even here, with the aspirant and political about affecting. You see, if your project can't say, oh, I'm between me and that. But I said, but for me, it might not be the best decision, but look at the bigger good of the party.
Yeah.
But so with all these structures in place, I have no doubt, say, once we elect a flag bearer, right, the party is going to coalesce around the flag bearer and will come back strong. Because I think we come as a party and we'll come back strong to face NDC in 2028.
Okay. What do you think? Pandai no say do you given some problems amunyina amaka ene de amu amaji atum no. Pandai na be free mo say na mbetimi aje.
Well, let me start from
yenwie review no kra mu wie na NDC de omo de squad yakogo na enya nkola o.
National
Mareta brew upon mu nyina wo ho. Mi wa mo so mo kon ofom.
Okay. Say there's something called good news to bury bad news. So what NDC have done, and I'm taking it from that e-levy signing, no near the end, or they are creating attention there by the side, and no, yeah, they are say, "Ekran ye wabemua, a kebia kesusani be." What I say because nobody say attention now or no who say, and especially NDC is very very good in these areas because when we say the more na nipa nyina do madwen akodi baabi no o ye bibi o baabi a obi ani wa obeba wedding e de na dwen beba ho enti pandai one it comes back to the party structure as I said earlier preparation ben case wo court no nkire se wo no obedi bi mo ana
No,
yes,
yeah.
And just how we did because a decision now I could take in Obia and Crowbar boy and the correction near the idea. I make a decision. So Namza what Jim Rini about almost or about 3,000 votes, So you think say you are in a comfortable lead. It is a one year careful. You might be thinking, say, oh, at the end of the day, bit me accused at the end of the idea. Possibility of you sitting back doing nothing is higher. What I say, and I believe say in this scenario, no, idea to ye be no, because ye the adrenaline na kusi say ye be win case in court, and this is to say proactive and I say smart politics, one step ahead of normal politics. Or no, me no kase asem no court na no start ye na dwuma dada. Etu wa ye dwuma no form what ho a wo ye bibia ene me no kase asin off. Ye call ho and some see ya ye PM a yen ye TB. Yen ye wa ban mu no. Hotel say wa sin area ni nyina ye buku ni nyina NDC for ko no munya ba bi na. Nti omo de dan ko fo fie wo fom ani omo di breakfast anopa. Are we going to do same? Okay? They went there and put entoma on the floor. E wo fie du ho afisia na ye twetwa asia ni bi no. E ko ni omo ko de dae. Mia bebre osori anopa no aye di koko no omo ni omo na di ye that time won so hotel what dware wi abo pada kama asesi ho
You are even disconnected from the local
by
people.
the time now buy no na omo di breakfast na make adwen no form that they are undecided they are called fat of reform so what will be yen so you adwen your opposition Are we still going to fight with them on the hotels? Or we are going to go on a low profile
And
to make
chairman, as
sure
far
we
as chairman, do
identify
you know,
ourselves with them?
chairman, who is chairman? To any packet MPP right now? Do you know the strategy of the party for Bandai?
I have no idea what is happening.
Less than 30 days.
I know crowd here the blame because obviously normally ban say na but you okay have a wom and ka obehwe crowd bia yen external branches no crowd oh chale say ba bia ye koi no e bia e behia mo support to be and na mo adwene bi enti dan adwene na mo support to be na mo nipa betima ba down resources be na e betimi dia ba ye nkoto ba election ma ye contact ye da I say na what busa asempa o but the no ya no mo na adwene say yen ka ho e omo a cup of tea. But if you are yen yawahano, no, meaning be a Washington chapter chairman, ya contact me, I'm NPP UK, not chairman, me sada. What I say, but and also man not be so fault. But I think that what can same be ne, and I think as I see a senior BB. What I say because near me cover by in a ma wo nyasa we formula we diaba. It is a kwako to abano crack kese say a KPANDAI. Now national executive no see debi say me name external branches is here. Na me di assembly so to money mo be number e bia ye de no kra be phone calls going to KPANDAI of the candidates.
I'm even surprised because this is NPP that won election 2020.
Yeah, police station adoption calling.
Chairman, what the strategy be by 2060? NDC for adopting strategy in this
time. I know the BT.
A constituency.
Yeah, adopt still. But yet the na baby I call extreme no was adopt the polling stations. Don't what do idea or the buyer or no the idea. Individuals nankasa create me adopt a whole polling station say me eshebensa. Omo di diemu omo bibia mu adwuma so omo ye ene ade ho chapter no branch no ne ya chiche obia nya bi yan ye bro aye play nti say wo the constituency bi na say police station ko share even the Washington chapter ansa now wo the ade o ya make kra han DC but that's how the numbers ni nyina ko ma chairman wo the ko ma chairman asarbedi akon ho a ne ko fo ni nyina ba frefie any one din command from Agono and Sakra and Momobako Amako. You see, these are the things I yen in the past, yen MPP UK, yen in the past, another time, no, now he sent up a team B. Yeah, friend, almost every delegate from the UK, everybody. Am I yes, up till now, that's what you but in a national level, in terms of by elections, Sadly, will cry, see, me, sure says you will be a creating that. And clearly, baby, and I'm a person made the call.
Chairman kind of shaky.
Yeah, clearly, me no, I don't see it say you bet me winning vigorously. But if we have to fight for it, we have to deny ourselves from pleasure and go and fight for it. We can win it. If we want to win it, it's about message. What is it that the dynamics is? Ariana is saying. And then idea message being necessary to me couchy and my yetimi echo ground. Now you great people who can communicate very effectively. Communication.
Now, Chama, communication national put na night. The only chairman I ready akunya maja to say no cramo struggle. And the national
communication because you see, look, if you are Chama bedi aku can be a menene ya adwene pa. Who's NDC for Felipa? But because of goodwill, Nintino. They are hiding under the goodwill and using the propaganda and the people na nye goodwill ne keke krampo na yanya MPP for nkasa kra no che say oh this time kra here oh bo MPP kra dia no bi yafe enye joko
yeah
edina make say ye was serious deficit say ye ho adwuma enti senka ya de a ye kwa akoto ba afia enne hwe niam a esi wo yanya party mutie bi wo afia wo right so the ultimate support to Dr. Baumia tenio but amabedi akon eko support asarbedi akoko support Kennedy Japan dia wo si DNT na or support Kennedy Japan ono no right dia wo se wo de be wo botum ba wo right so ultimate katre chama asarbedi akose ese se oba na oba support wo candidate
Oh, in terms of who? National for Neka Chemusana.
Enipana as membership no ni sympathizers na a di party neti no. Yare ya ba ko ya be yare se be sese no. Because ono de ono no support ko na Japan no. Ono de office ono ye right o. Ba wo ko support odutuma no ono wa yaka.
Because I'm part of some executives, and that's why
Debbie, I'm talking about normal way of membership.
Okay.
Keke. Chama me boa catch me. Who buy a platform to swap?
As can I say, we've all taken entrenched positions
Yeah.
because we support.
The sad part the crowds on say. They say me say I'm say openly, and the statement I'm making, you know, people don't sometimes follow it. Me say openly, I will not support anybody.
Okay, very well.
Openly.
Very well.
But metwaba, what you say? Wuna wo say openly unsupporting no so you see the na unsupport obi na isi kura to aba mu bi. Enti o support obi na mpesa obeka. Me say openly.
Okay.
Me imagine if you have platform so.
Mame ka asem we suaye. Oyazem. If you think about Washington DC here, you watch a couple of programs sayaye. As a matter of fact, 27 KBA program.
Okay.
One of the things sayaye about Washington DC and Cabo Ma ye wo the platform so 10 for or so Baumia for or so. Even I'm going to support Alan Kwafo so. What I say, and the reason for that is we foster the culture of unity. That's how we are going to go forward in terms of, and don't just say we need open us more. But yeah, we've been able to foster that culture, and I think that is something that the party has to learn. The program I say on the 2070, 10 for our cancer, they'll give a goodwill message. But for our cancer, they'll give a goodwill message. You see, those are the things that we need because at the end of the day, to the individual, no, definitely to be out of your so now, of against the time, I always say, one to our company now, you are even wrong because it's your civic responsibility to vote. But yeah, as leaders, no, I say, you say, because we didn't go for so. That is wrong because that in Papa Yemuba. But what we are definitely to be able to be able to open the team. But I think that the structures has the part in that is one thing we need to foster more in the way say about 1 year and prepare. Maybe one of the things that we can do is send the unity work. Maybe the next thing that we need to do is let's do a unity work. Because I think okay, KPANDAI ask them, hey, so for that they didn't go KPANDAI. Mumla go for na so you need to pay na obi e na
the day of elections. And I think on that day now of election, you know, all the candidates should be in Pandai to go and work.
These are some of the things that we can do to start easing the tension amongst the members. So we support you way because I think that is a genuine concern. But let's have the party first. You see, we are supporting. People might have their own opinions, so we support you. Me, so I mean, kind of be able to say, what I say, because I'm a leader in the party, and I have to make sure that I have that neutrality. What I say, but as a party, let's portray.
I dear about me personally.
Oh,
some media no burn.
My vacation go
ahead. No burn kakra.
Ah, koso. Vacation
koso. Oh, the very landed.
I'm okay. I think the point has been made. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you have me as MPP UK chairman as of okay. Me see me sa flag bearership one way. And say then hear me papa. Because baby here ni say nipa 5 na omugina no. Obia ye be you be a competent personality.
Okay.
Obia ye be you be a. The best jockey, Oba betra ponko so. No ordinary konuika. Ponko ni ye hwan. Ponko ni ye party no.
Okay.
From polling station, electoral area, constituency, region, external branches, national. So for me interest and kasapa baby wo that elections na national elections no because no na ye regulator. If we get that particular one no wrong, it doesn't matter ni ayebekwa ko yi no say omra meidi yanim na yemfa nkokon no because ye bo aban ni mu pe Na ponko no bubugu fomu a. Wo wa wote ponko no so no we the best jockey said there crowd because ponko no ntimi fa onko.
Okay, I get you.
Eti me as for the national elections I will throw my support and support certain individual and make sure we get the selection right so that you bet me a juma na ma polling station structure ejina ne naso. You bet me a electoral area ejina ne naso. Constituency, region, external branches and national no a good regulator and power. Ono no eniema a wode agu akwan mu no ama ba bia gono aye adwuma yi ampa aye very effective because they realize the time you Ghana in the 2024 elections and say most of the constituencies I adopted ya ye call you know oko okra na police station executives okra no unya bi krampo nsini so na one na ye adwuma. There was a breakdown systems where that those areas na electoral area constituency and then the polling station structure was broken. Nina your factors. I might lose election. It media and say the regulator we need to and no idea satam no drew na say kasa ampa na me of akeme say me kasa ampa. I will speak to the people very passionate and tell them that look mu amujiji sika to aba no munyai because as I say elected competent people that can literally manage our party for us. That is what we have to do. Say we need me and your structure not correct ampa if you are flag bearer na ye no na dwuma ye easy yan na sese ye de ne kokon no enye ono momu e na ne ma waye ene ne awantimi anye enti na me de me se da bi sankofo no ye wi a sese ne ye yi no a na ye kodi omu nyina atam ya ya omu fi putoyi na matom sapo samna ene nku kakra atade na ma se na atade ne madware no na ne ho afi na me nimi nua asarebedi akon ya assignment e ho na sorry.
Okay.
Na ya timi akodware na koton yi ampa ama Ghana for ato. If you spoke about the unity level. Mesre tisenia enne uhunu ye na President Kufo omu nyina ko ni fie ho no. Mesre mpanimfo ni nyina se omu nhye sa unity na sentem. Nipa num na ejina no possibility wo kan sem bi ma menua asarebedi akose oh I know the entimi mana unity baba. Unity doesn't come by accident. It can never just come and freeze through now about the If you don't work on it very closely and prepare the grounds for that to happen and you leave it last minute, now it's not unconcerned. Now you can't do it. They have to start the process now and begin to build them, have consensus approach with them. And I believe that almost all mujina so say abatona ye kwakotono. Now the amidi same fin yemma emu enya krojin mu amay madwe se mu bekunkum nipa no munya na mu fancy kan ye tomu dem yem pesa de no wo na ye duma ye ko ye ofie eni kwa se si omu na obia mpanimfo na edi animu no especially the election committee omu ni isifo no nkasa seriously they should not compromise our elections for the mama's benefit ono ni NDC for ebe yusu ye na omode isifo bi abesane agu yeso no mabebie mogu ase da mankofo abedi bone na omo abo omo di bone ni abebo ye di bone. They should scrutinize the people that are going to come and manage our elections for us so that yenya ye kotu ni nyina ye people who have the right to vote ye kotu abani wia ya to awie ampa yenko hwemu mo bia ye chinchimo bia nse ngunachi. Every polling station should become quiet. Otuwa bewie kofie na ye wia na ampa ye bobo na wo a wo se won timi ntiase ye se ampa obia ti ne fie hwa ade na ye bobo ye na basa bia ma no se wo so won ntiase a ya to awie nya wo pese wo ye no koye.
Yo, very well. Chairman Sarabedi, any final thoughts, especially on how to bounce back from KPANDAI? Because KPANDAI, I would say, one may say 50-50.
Oh, yes. Yes, 50-50. But as I said, no, you see, Chairman Kingsley Kasimbi, and I think basically that's what he's saying. It's about the structure of the party. We need to get the structure right because the structure, not a flabber and because all our flabberers are far more competent. As a baggage, the man go for this election. I don't have a president. He had the biggest baggage. But as the structure, and I agree, let's get the structure right. Let's elect the right people to be able to lead our party. And I think that yes, we'll be able to get this thing done. Just of a county machine, it's not about say unity unity, but also case imagine so yeah fun near my yeah going to show being sanguinechi. Near my yeah bear crudging what is it? And I think say I like what the PEC has done, our Presidential Election Committee has done so far. Because I must say, aside easy phone call all the candidates were reps. What is it? And I think this is very, very, very good. More reps, some shame, so many should that be say he's going to compromise that or reps so. What I say, so I think that we have safeguards in place, which I like what is going on at least. Flabber and I will be able to say a conference. So rap corners or koda, that's but peace number they put in the guidelines. So for rap bra. So unya accredited that unti go to about kofie. That's part of the guidelines. So I think that there's a lot of things that have been put in place. On that day, no, what does here? It's going to be a person that the people want. Elections there in America. So one more year under what? The most important thing is that let's have a fair playing field for everybody. That is the most important. And that will form the basis of our party. I'm going to say, Flabera, I have a strong feeling that we have a very good message going into 2028. And I'm not going to be because I have to have a lot of confidence. There's a lot of confidence. So I saw some of the things that we put in place as a party. What I say, me who say meeting USC, me driver's license, and I'm aware friends say me what do you call it? Me you can have me card. Me friends.
Oh, why green card?
Green card. And my mother have a green card. But those two documents, you say Ghana, your Ghana card back. Yes, the same thing. It was the same purpose. Ghana, and these are messages that I can relate to and I can speak to when we go in 2028. What I say, your jobs agenda. I say, your candidates. Five candidates aside having the general message, be a unique message or car a bit of Ghana fortune. Offer Baumia or digital platform, or bit near Casaho and Ghanaians are seeing it. Offer Kennedy or not starting the jobs agenda. What I say? Offer a document. Exactly, but I'm buying chair. It was a free station. Hey. So those are the same. That's how power. First time in the government. NPP, our finance minister was one of the best in Africa. Ghana for you say, hey, we have a lot of goodwill. What I say? Maybe you actually could do it. So it's not about how you start the race, it's about how you end it. That is what I'm not so there's a Ghana for but they will see the realities, and that reality. I always say it's a Ghana for them. Just one last thing. We should mark 2027. 2027 is going to be a very critical year for us as a nation. And I'm praying that this NDC government has safeguards against 2027. One of the things that we're able to do was we're able to suspend our loan repayments on our external debt.
Until 2027.
Exactly. I'm in briefing space. If you say name start to force into $10 million, upon me to stabilize the city. I said, 10 billion to stabilize 10 billion exactly to stabilize the city. What's that? Say external data. What's that 10 billion? No way. What is it?
2027 will be the year of reckoning.
For me, I think that is what that is coming. What is it? So there is a lot of things that we need to. But if I don't just as a party in my and because if NPP is not sure that we are organized as a party, no matter how NDC performs, don't give us power. Because some more moment fit my here. We for and even though the signs are there that people are going to see our good works, let's come together as a good party. Let's unite as one front. Not the baby be about me campaign on this education. Say, hey, if you are 1 year, go for they're not performance next year. What I say? Offer Brian will talk about the development. Hey, I've been able to look at what I've done in Co. Look at how I've been able to build this infrastructure. I can replicate at the national level. Offer can talk about how he has served the party through ills and things. So all our candidates have very good messages to go to Ghanaians. So I'm not even worried on that.
Amran is talking about
Mr.
patriotism,
Patriotism.
discipline. Yeah.
What I say? You can't just they have good fronts, but yen come as a party because I say you're for KK and she can come and say upon calling you can bring even the sense to put on that on corner. Yeah, when you as a party. I want to make case.
But Mamina Munya must say more boy. What will happen in Pandai? We'll come back and discuss Pandai because said American Gary Nimakwe, you know, send him there's review. Oma filing motion for review of the judgment on our Supreme Court. And we'll see how it will go. But even while the review process is ongoing, no, Pandai no so campaign so koso. And how the party will fight Pandai no. Also, I think I wanted to ask you just a quick one about Enra Parliament. Na me more man from Remti. Me who say wafake I crowd wafake me join very soon. Parliament Enra in a quick to look at to fight this Pandai idea. Look at what happened in Parliament. Wafake, what do you think about just say the scene in Parliament and ever on your quick one? I remember wafake any other people no join over. Kisle Japan. I mean, Parliament and run. What happened?
Yeah, if you are media Parliament there, Ukraine may omu behavior no in terms of this showcase of this no. Many home be permanent. It's completely indisciplined, unprofessional. So we share other parliaments. Yes, every parliament is designed for sometimes proper debate and sometimes heckling and things like that. But it's any the bia sorry free city so na ye gu ye ho ani mu ase na international level no na ye gu ye ni mu ase no me mani nyu. Yes, of course, I have followed the lines in terms of how the minority was very agitated. It's because of that decision of the clerk no say or they sa letter no the call easy ho ema no na no omo no person omo say why say case no work court no na say it me declare by how say me need the minority no me say our question kakra omo moti obi I think it was last week okay and the no ba ko pe mu obi na parliament speaker and kasa declare seat in vacant na mo ho say your protest bi anka na de ye happen no as an answer ni you know that day no na say but on no can if you out that day no was when because
the homework should have gone on Saturday.
Of course, because that day no mono ye declare mu seat in vacant no automatically constitutionally it triggers that deadline of how as a clerk the report no free parliament no ebe addressing electoral commission constitutional. Me pa just what you say and no constitutional mandated on the juma no na so ye enti deadline so down so as so me send e de call na or the comma electoral commission no to me trigger data ya de be election no enti for me that at the end almost sorry gina all year and that day no I might be a bit differ in terms of how omo year no run. I believe that if they wanted to do something that was more professional, not too much of saying ya di boom na de bia nyame amoa ba ekra na obi kuta ba bi onro bi obeka ye bi ema obi di blade kura twa yen members ni bi anim e parliament na that are minister of sports and these are not something we need to encourage because see democracy na e pese ye professional ni sua de a Ghana we are able to say let's learn it very, very effectively and then project it because for me, it was unnecessary yesterday. And it should have been done.
Yes, definitely. Nobody wants to see violence and agitation to that level in our parliament. Okay, definitely. You'll be on. But we are seeing a trend in this party, especially in the NDC government. You remember an example of having a WhatsApp kokosa. Government are forming a CSOs, all this when they admitted it and it was admitted.
I'm buying now for me WhatsApp platform now. CSOs
yeah, and it was admitted. The video is there, bro.
But
exactly. That CSOs was so you see attorney. I'm video now, bro. You understand what it is? So it tells you that there is an agenda going on. And sometimes, yes, nobody wants you to disrupt civility. But sometimes if you don't force yourself Especially when you are facing this environment, people might take it for granted. This a year course. No, when said there is a mandatory timeline in case if anything, is declare here, should be there's a court ruling, says it be a vacant. There's a matter about 7 days. And that mandate challenge allows for appeal before the clerk can even take it to the EC. Did that mandate timeline elapse? No. Why did the clerk go ahead define Parliament's own lay down procedures?
But the clerk is on your NDC. Ni clerk is
yeah. On your NDC, you don't have time NDC written on your face, but your action that determines it. Okay. You know the rules. Why would you go? Why would you go against the rules? I don't have to call you NDC. I'm just saying follow the lay down procedure.
Okay.
Chairman, but your honor mantini yamse biana man follow.
We say there is a mandatory timeline. 7 days. 7 days. So court ruling.
Within 7 days, and I say.
I have to look at. I think I know it's 7 days. I don't know whether it's within or whether it has to 7 days has to be elapsed.
Okay, me too. If it's within days, then
if it's within
yeah.
Unless any concept bro date, no.
So I'm trying to tell you, sir, that the 7 days is not even for the clerk. The 7 days is for you to have so that they can appeal the ruling. So the clerk has not got anything to do with it.
So that means that 7 days should have lapsed.
Exactly, it should have lapsed. Exactly. Okay. This is one of the things that the MPs are fighting for. What I say, but we are facing an environment, and we are facing a WhatsApp group government. What I say, and these are things that we need to stand up against. Yes, but where you are seeing that rules of government are being flouted. Okay, yeah, you hold the same thing. And what's that? No, Lucy, you know. Lucy, no, not the North Canada. No, Canada, I think I seen no. What's the similar situation? I didn't know Franco Parliament. Because we had the same, we in government, we could have used the same rough tax or more, you know. We could have good governance. We floated that procedure. Why are things changing? Okay. What I said, but no, so nobody wants some of these unruly behavior. Nobody will support that. I said, but it's a appeal that's getting to the point. So one can say, and that is why some of
necessary evil that had to
take place. Because they say, I didn't know. Parliament can't stand procedures. We're not even following it. But I said, so what were they supposed to do? Yes, you know, say we are in a minority. But at the end of the day, you know, follow the lay down procedures. But I said that is what Ghanaians want. I think nobody will support unruly behavior, but as a party, you know, we need to stand up for what is right. Me, Washington DC, because this is crown pono. And then there are times that force is required. But it doesn't mean say go ahead and be unruly. But when you realize that people are taking things into their own hands, you have to speak for yourself.
Okay, very well. Yo, Chairman, mami na wase ne yera Chairman Saribedi akone Chairman Kingsley Edumate Japan Pacho. Yakubon Shamu se mo join here, mo se mo daje we. Thank you so much. Why?
Amen.
Chairman.
What I'm saying, bet me akasa wa chiro at some point.
Aye. Yeah, anytime.
Halfway no much in the
if you are now trying to mama Chairman yankoi.
Auntie, go. Kanda ni the MPP akasa say. Enkoyi sitting down Ombeluzu. Papa came, Mama, good evening, Aquaba. Nada near to
Stefia, my few.
Hey, I know why first of all. Hey,
that's it. My few.
Oh,
Stefia,
I big. Also, I take a class swag womb drip no on drip. Just say
Stefia, because you say
on point. As I do elections, I'm not positive at you because say election Louisiana, we am too sad.
Stevia, some mechanical say, may trade trash at John Mahama, a member of Crown Marshall.
You know, I'm money break 1 year and 1 year anniversary. No, I'm money break. No,
yes. A mom with the Stevia to say air time, papa, John Mahama. Or any grassy rough. We'll go and ask you.
To 1 year anniversary, who cast now at our police for 11 a COVID-11 now a year through her. Any idea now who nina?
Stefia. I said, when ye, it seems like Ghana, you're serious. na appointments are John Mahama ye na me ba be ka ho asem.
Okay, koso.
Because Ghana is serious and can obi to say Akando pa yentimi fa health minister man. It seems like Ghana is serious. Akando. Akando.
MP, now say the panel are qualified as MP.
Or didn't qualify. If you didn't qualify. Steph here, how come say Ghana UK ha yeah? Obi to say Professor Jampo on your appointment. Professor Jampo, muti man appointment.
But you are Akando is a full member of parliament and
I know.
But that qualifies him. Constitution is to say president and five ministers from parliament. What
Stefia Akando no nti ono kwa na ewo parliament wa health no obetimi aye adwuma wo ha na. Den die. Me so question me so bi sa no. Say oni ye nipa bebre wo ho. John Mahama betimi appoint from do accord that health no. Nti nya Akando nko a. Uwi a wasa appoint this man say onye one man appointment to Caribbean KKD
KKD ko Caribbean mente
raper obi a o rape obi Ghana
yan convicting obi na be complain.
Oh, Stefia, come on. It seems like Ghana is serious.
No.
Ghana, you are not serious. Professor Jampo. Stefia Jampo. Legon. Ifishemwa. Ne hun sembebre BBC. Ne hun sembebre by. No, I'm a such person appointment. This person one appointment. UK Akrapanka Professor Jampo nka ontimi nchira de ekra obebi abie anka ye be blacklist no ko nchira de obebi abie seems Ghana nye siro o de ma me fan 20 NDC for asem
1 year no president Mahama appointment de enkoye
oh Stefia there appointment there
okay very well move it to
Stefia enim said the omani siko omani enim said the eko but ya edin bi o pese ye koto ya bewie na nyame adom na se Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia eto abama ni wi a na Ghana fo behu say no say NPP for say ya adwen say ye pese ye koyi ye flag bearer wi ti nyame adom na se ye koyi ye flag bearer wi a we say NPP for say Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia muma ye nto abama no ono nkwane nipa ye betimi de na kwa akwaje Ghana for better abamano. Apart from no do obi aba, we will lose. Apart from Dr. Mohammed, because Dr. Mohammed will be an attorney that. And some NDC for be can fan no more can we. This NDC for nya same be on be can fan. By ye uniform in the powerful for bar. In some of our best will go almost no. Because the MPs now stay here. Yeah, a ministers almost around pa omunam yoko eno omunam eno omudi akone aba enti se yakoto abama baako a ene ensema ebepie Ghana no yesre omo se Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia yento abama no ono nkuto na obetimi abeje oyamaye sister fia bidi nyame jana enti se de masia aba back want you say my phone so
Pandai just a quick one on the Pandai sana wako na makomisa ka one in town
step ya on say NDC for your margin say e kwan bia so no omo ebe wiki ne party no ba step ya omo boa step ya 1992 parliament yanko ye boycott ye ana Rollins kra no step ya wentimi onu kwan wentimi anya de oye enti the NDC for any step ya hono say yet asem no Supreme Court anamebwa enti you ye nyama yen kan wie na ye kan wie a ehon bi wo asem bi kan na ma ba be kan why
okay
enti step ya ni nyame nye adwuma
mate yo overcame me that bebre yo Mr. Aka, good evening
Prime Minister
Ajo yenti we.
Boko there. Michia, Mr. Abidi Akone Tamai. Boko. And I want to Michia. As if you are, the embedded can say, Udi Cabo, President Kofo, Odio Noa, or Ye to Honomoa. Edi nya bidi samri. Asama futu no de ma ye no. Ya ye ntie no. Ene ye ne. Party ye ba power. Ye chama ya to abama no. Ene secretary kon Japan. Ene afoko etimi yomu firi ho. Akufo de so ontimi no manya adwuma. Ye hwe ase nyina afiri ho. Enso amanfo mpese beka no kure. O ka no kure ni pampe. Pese akufo ado ena am yakodu ba bia yeduru no. Ko Ghana gidia ne o weche omu no. Ya hu ni sa. Enti amanfo bebre di yawo. Alenche maten President Akufo ado no aka chense se oniwa on na ba be di ade. Enti ehye ni tirim. Eduru ho e yekoto aba no. Eno me koso nyina ena makale Japan betisi mu. Ye nyina enim anoma akoso party no mu. Ba nya nsem nyina na ye ka. Ba na de NPP asem na ye ka. Ne ye nka no kure, ne anka no kure twa ntro a etoje ye yara. Ye nim de ekoso party mo bia nim ba ntoma no ma esi nyina bibia eko bi obi anim. Ba ba ne ye ho se de ye nim de eko. Ye nim de eko pa. Ba ye ya ne abronye no ma wo ya ye kan enti ye pa busa se afoko ene kom na Japan e de be party to pa be no mo ye ya enti ye yi omfiri ho. Enti mi busa sa question de ya ne hu ba bi egina ma ye ntwe ho ntro MP mako 90 say 87 e ka che zempe kan oforiata akufo de so onti ase o be na ye enti mi busa se MPC no enyom le boa me akufo ado ye to aba ne bi ma no a enko betima be power na one MP for the to aba mo ana so pon bi ma o so no mo ne ye adwuma ma o kasem chene na wontie pensioners for sika a wo ye yi levy ye de ba ye kan ye usu wontie nsa asem na wontie nya na fu se Ghana for na ye mo na ani nti no mo to aba ne ti aye no enye MPP for nko na nko to aba no Ghana for no mo no hu se enoma ha o mo na obi akoye adwuma no akọ pension na nsi ko be to aduanom wo se wo de uji wakatua na no MPC no magiska na momo de manya sika de didi na omo ma ya adwuma ko pension umfa ni sika dia na afi so ba akoto aba ma sister fia MPP ya nhye no ma yie yan kan kura nkyira ma na ada ye ho me enfa nhye obi a ne mpanifo na ani amoaye Akufo ado problem nya wonam de be ma no because obedi akonya ne wie no na party wato na sawram party officer is how many times mumucha no na mumucha wo mo mumucha wo mo o ka o share bo say every 6 months bi obeba ho bisa say how many times no ba ho hwe mukuta 169 what me lusua ba be do 137 no ababa to 87 afa na 160 pamuso sister fia your pakra enkosiaga because
I need the pandande mboluzu.
Oh sister ya lusu dada ese omoti ase enti omko kire no mo hye no mani ye na no mo amoye omati ankrofo na so no alenche matin munyina agensi ani nya na ma ne ba sa woti ase pamela Japan same crap omunyina ade be pa no mo ye masa obi wa no be ko enso no konya na adwumwa ne woditirim obe support but obe ne ho se onye bibia ntia but no ma hye ditirim hwe eno mabu wa yen ka no kranche ma ye na ada ye ho se MPP se pe no kra pa mum pa dia yen papa mu nyen ka no kra ene na of keka no ye won panimfo party ni mu a omo ka se ene president Kofo be kan sa asem se eno ma bi e ko so ya mo na mane hwe atemdidi a ebi aba be di no na ebere na obetima be ka bi entu fu sa mo di nsem bi ko to panimfo ni bi ani manti komuni anu akwa na mu nyansa kakra omo bu ma no ombetimi aka na obi a wan pitu bi aka se mo ye se yin afirim won ka ho abronye timi ka chance obeyi nkrofo di afirim me ba cha abronye ono otumi che obi ana na aban dodo se na oto ni seat na 11 aka ba akope enti sa nipa we ye yi ni free party no party no ebegu ana enti aka na krantre ye ho nye nya ntro na ye twa kire ye ho no se na we na ye se na we na ye se abronye nwuma a odi no ene no ma oye no egu party na nim efi egu ya nim ase emfa sa antete yen obi enu a ukan asema kan wadwene se points a wo bo fit obetima ye enya atemdidie na wudidi no enti se wo fit abronye kanokro sister fia wo fit abronye kan Japan awene a abronye betima ko campaign ma kan Japan mibusa enokra de enka maye na ada ye ho ne ka se wi e be ka bom enka bom bia ni wo sa wontimi di obi atem enye ni sei na wi aka so ne ka bom sister fia me da say nyame nka ho why down nyame nka ho bye bye
Yo, one in town. Good evening. Mo party ne dey na Mr. Akase aguoye.
Good evening, Mr. Sister Fia. Unim, yeah, now sometimes, yeah, now it's it's ionic if I can use that word. So, Mr. Joseph Akwa, so also NPP ni mebo, and Okasa as NPP, from head to toe, the submission or yeah, and ni previously, the ain't no kaya, punto ba NPP. Well, it's a rhetorical.
I think in the past we'll make suggestions, baby. I said Omonia party.
No,
He's made some suggestions in the past.
Yeah, I'm just trying to many next year about 2, 3, 4 times. You know, your friend is
in Cranches MB build the party, no.
Sister Via. And then the statement here, okay. The okay premises here or the menino. What has it got to do with your friend is a Quabre Japan, your sake in 2009, I said 2016. Afoko. What has it got to do with it? And if or no one believe we say Sebia Bibia Koboni, not within the heart, on to me find cheddar. How do you prove to say we are a patriot? If we are say even say yes to Christo Kurana or Bear we are no, why ya bonio? But yet the boni dini ma ye kuno. And can't we forgive ourselves, even if Nanado Kura Sebio, what the your friend is a sick kind of credo name Tadua, Ebejina and the Busia Poso Kuomina and a cow non qua Ontiminia Satra. Sister Fia,
and people should let those things do go. That's your point.
Yes. Look at between 1981 to 1993, your friend said, camp. The fourth Republican Constitution dispensation between that period there Mikael and Yama Koso our revolution time a lot. But President Kufuor what did he do in his wisdom? Or kasa yenya reconciliation what committee young Ghana for nya day emom. And are you telling me say nanko bi wa boni ananka o ma ye no sa time no nti dan ko ntimi rise up na but you hear yourself nti eduru baby a yemfa boni nche no matter what na Mr. Aka untimi every day bia or bebe bia no o de ye athwe ne temperament or he's not looking to say or be bia as what come na be ye as a NPP puntoba it's always Nanado might have committed his wrongs, but it does not mean that Nanado onye bibia emeriase. And that the wait here, Onusipru so Nanado no, and yes, I know be uno on shasi na on hearing itself, na unforgive, na and also ba no mental of a number of say kakrabin ni pa yare mental health whereby any stress in this anime. Uba say ya abon safe when your problem. Yes, I will ma ya waniema intimisreno any diem. Onyanto was here. No matter what wrongs were, be an anado I am. I'm not saying say on my support to Dr. Baumia. That's not what I'm saying. But no matter what untimin concludua wo kawasem no was yentimin kamu. Then what is the point? But are you telling me say NPP is going to be wiped off now? We should be start here. What we should be doing is looking at the issues now and confront with the Ghanaian economy now. Even if Ufri Bob Abanabaso or the Abanabaso is good, it doesn't matter. Sister Via, and then I make an article just trying to look at all the ills and then the filth within the government and the grand scheme. Maybe people are not looking at it from the perspective of President Mahama Bayano. Just sit down and look at the things you're saying. No one will tell you, say, Rebecca said that the third term agenda, anyone and near my question, no one will tell you what I say, and yet emotion. It has been set in motion. But we have not seen it. take it from the perspective of this. Starting with ye judiciary head, ye nedi. Tokonu ye nedi no. At the time ye nedi no, Justice Bafuboni, on a ye penny as say, oh, ye no. Even in law, there's something called they can say me refi there on say all the pattern rule. There's one rule account. You
can't be a judge in your own cause.
In your own case, and you are expecting say sad term no nanka obetima yini ho afirim nanka nkofo but Justice Bafuboni act na so e ma ye di asem wo so wonyini ho firim all the cases ye ko ye bia wodi bi Justice Bafuboni before that ne yiri ne appointing ne yiri as commissioner for prisons. So when we say this here, and you appointing no one no emra no media semuntia president nana. So look at these things. You appointing a year as a commissioner.
Until who was any influence and bias.
Of course, until I may try to just bring up our mind attention. Say and Kiaba yen NPP. I know say we are going for a year. But we should be able to speak about what is going on.
Internal communication, I know so I
that's but sister Pia said, I have not employed me kafa ye nua bema ye can say brother Aqua. Menini me anu these are some of the things that even yet they make about abanaba so cry media me fa say ne e wono na sem. But enye ni nyina na wo si agina so say ya dwen say bibi nkoyie ntino de Kufuad president Kufuad ye bia na wo si agina o.
Okay,
I'm just trying to make a point. Say, ye nyina no ye de bone che, but as was here, obebu so as I make call. I don't want to go and repeat myself. My main come back, be another person. Me drag me. Share sister Fia. NPP ye who say you go through a lot. No one can deny the fact. No one will deny the fact. All the 5 people contesting these elections, every one of them will deserve. Everyone, because even to get to this level, the kind of processes you have from picky what is it? You can't say forms. Go through vetting. Yen timi ma obia ye believe say on timi qualify. Yen timi mani medi so. All these processes qualify. Vetting class here be UAD. So whoever, sorry. So whoever among the 5 every one of them say ye communication it just yem more a tamontan chia medium who say obibia perfect. Enti ema ye break down the only thing is that say me believe say Dr. Baumia present our best bet. And not yet, it does not necessarily negate the fact that maybe fair enough. Obia one strength. Your baby obia strength. Maybe there are unique propositions so a betimaseri each candidate. So each of them on Bebano, we are okay to go. But Dr. Baumia to me present the best choice. And at the same time, me Kasami person bejina for now.
One in town.
What I'm just trying to say is I am more interested in
where you never freeze a couple of times. Won't send be walking back. Maybe you change your position, man. Change your position. Baby, I would change your position. Change your baby out. I don't think because Kasa. I was the old canning banning number. Why, Prince, if I train you was a one in town, be change in baby or just change where you are sitting. Prince, if I train you, good evening.
Good evening, Sister Fia. Made our bedroom for us, and I think it's a panelists a good submission. But on a quick one. KPANDAI Rerun NDC, to be honest, I don't know. NPP, ACC, your current situation, you won't any your stance. I'm not sure, but but yes, still no. I don't know how performance. I mean, good performance that we are going to put it out there. But one thing I was here going to say, party a free abaimu just a year. Why should we panic? Thinking yen year in Kianim Betty. But all the same, I believe say other aspirants in Indiana be able to support. But well, a party in government who controls the security, who has the money and everything, the resources, how will you fight such a government? NPP and so be best. But quick one on the position of the NPP primaries here at Bekosui. I have a personal belief, say, I mean, Yema Echa and Yema Ekoso currently, even in Africa, Monday program about the coup any idea you can clearly see, say,
if I want to say ECOWAS as an issue, state of emergency in West Africa.
Yes.
State of emergency, ECOWAS.
Yes.
The whole West Africa. That's very serious.
Yes, Sister, there's something that is cooking up in Africa. As a Nipano, Yemfa Yeni Inhui. And I say, Yene Ankasana yet one, Yemfa Yeni Yede Inhuni Yakoso. Because
that Prince Minchawa, no Monday cry a program, this topic and buy no comment do Mudi at them the whole day because again, they don't even see that this is an issue.
I mean,
and see, and this week, ECOWAS an issue, state of emergency, the entire West Africa.
yes.
Because it's something as a well monitor situation is coming, it's consistent. And this is secure your borders now. Oh, be proud on the country crowd. Who in the Hisa Ghana? Why a stable 30 years? So bet me about stable just to do something to just shake up your country.
I mean, Sister Fia, say if you can bear witness with me, and it will be personal gainer. You can see, say there are a lot of things that are also West Africa. I will say the leaders in Ankasa are taking note of it. I mean, majority of the politicians are taking the people for granted. And that is the truth. What I say, Africa, I mean, everybody believes that we have the resources, we have everything. Things are near my bitimia dani but acquire one man show. If somebody gets the opportunity, just amass the wealth now or the Gusian, and that is it. And it's a worried. Can you imagine? The unemployment rate. I'm not being politics here, but the unemployment rate. So we are not work school in this all period. I mean, at the age of 30, 35 to 40, no we school, not untiminya jumanya. I mean, dear partner, wadrin bachelor, a dear partner, one casa wait me ayamount. It is a one namness, we be. Nesse, I mean, be a boat in your one here. Obey ya, dear, answers away then, as I say away. But Scanoho, you can see some few people here, or mono enjoy, few people here, I mean, almost say show off with all the resources and other things. Almost a majority in a then, as so far. Abu Sankara statement was saying, do we rather choose safe water for all and now say champagne for the few? And that is what is going on in West Africa. And I believe, say, job is something that is, I mean, causing the problem of West Africa. Yeah, and I'm still on West Africa. A Juma, a mebuno, I mean, yenya opportunity, a mebuno yenya. And then I'm a West Africa, intimi enyina. I have a personal belief, say NPP primary, say Koswidi, Honorable Kennedy Japan or Stanto. I mean, Kennedy, share ne past records, and Kennedy Ankasa being consistent when it comes to job opportunity, creating an opportunity for the youth. Kennedy has been consistent, and you say, "Ena Kennedy bekan juma wasem." Kennedy sha say Kennedy Kano all the time. And one thing people doesn't understand about Kennedy is that Kennedy knows the basis of economics, basis of development. Kennedy or Assembly of Bekenbiana, he aligned it with solutions, not only spell out the problem. Now we're Kennedy aligned it with solutions. And I believe, say, delegate Kwakotuaban, Omonsha and Niema, ACC or West Africa. No more fun to say, if say those things should happen to Ghana, send a Ghana bedding, ABC Alpha. It's the best opportunity, say, Kennedy Beba. And me brother be making statement be say ya ton ba obi adada. Okay, quick one. Or see ya ton ba obi adada. I believe say there are two things I mix what I say. There's difference between visibility and marketability. Yes, Baumia is visible in the space of politics in NPP, but Baumia is not marketable. One, Baumia is not trusted. I mean, you know, Obey vice president, and I can see from my point, say he was managing issues, but he was not solving them. NAPCO was there just to manage, I mean, a situation for a short period of time. After NAPCO, no, what happened again? Obia sa kwetena fie. Oma nya adwuma ni omo da so sa ofie. So Baumia clearly shows say he was rather managing issue. Now election year ni NDC for ebe 2028, it should be somebody who can solve a problem, because we are going there to solve problem. And Honorable Kennedy Japan has demonstrated those things. And the last thing that I can also talk about is reliability. You know, Kennedy
reliability mobizo nga yes time na san grant, you know. But Michael, I'm not good.
Yes, my monitor to yeah, me tieti for you. Odi afa me papa Ken.
Because hopes in crowd, I think I hopes in Johnny about the camera none, so I don't know what is happening to him.
My mentor was from me papa Ken on economics and basics of economics, on in depth of economics or economic student. The only thing they say, you see, when one economic terms now demand and supply no forum if you say economics, you know,
why you know why voice now you know what low. I don't know, say be a bet me a microphone no idea.
Okay, I believe so. Okay.
Yeah, but just because hopes in my flower border, because in the camera, I don't know why. My man picking it quickly, and yes, I bet you
fun.
Hey, lady.
Oh, driver now. Hey, yes,
Wama you see me saba kwa che.
Oh, pacha me kuse.
Bibi aboko die.
Adum pacha swe.
Nyangu pa adum boko.
Great.
Eja. United Party for
no asset what's na se na yaye. Why?
Any problem. United Party for so echiamu.
Oh, okay. Say someone ya full blown party, you know.
Oh, they say there UP. Echi eja nkrofobi kwakoyi esina amana disina sedimwi. Eja your why is obi dey 10 cents, ebi dey 15 cents, ebi 20. We say, hey, number for yi adan eti zete omo ye chief sinana sina aka no omo ba UP a ye beje omo pa na eni omo aye aduma.
Ask them.
Afiada ayi ye ka de na me monitor kakra. Na ye bianom NPP for ni bi na akasa no. Say Ghana na bako ka say eya na politicians are taking for granted ni ade. Yes, eya no kre. Adna yes so SSC you hu say SSC e ma o mindful no so etimi giyeti. What you say? Ade ni efita we should be bold and say white. Ma ye nkonko ka say enya me nipa ntino enya papa. Efia ye gina ye bedi no kre say your Mahama Bang for this first year, no, 1 year share grano. Yetimu say economy no a stabilize kakra. You who say ye dollar ye any city in sensemi aye kama. Ama before no aye a bit okay than before. People say oka na ye day. I don't know what I say. Okasa, let us say NDC beka kunyano so forever and ever na. No. One say oka no kre no. Na fe bibi nko ye na o hete a. Edo na fe Ghana for 4-0 so. Editing na ye United Party. Ye de. Ye stance ni say. Ade ye pese ye di oman yi so. Odo no nche say e say ye di tro. Ye daba be di oman no so. Ada wo di tro kra na. Eja tro nyina obedi ene be ma Ghana for di wachi. Zone e je no. Eti ne papa no mommy enka se ade we die eye papa. So ye nua ba kwa asem anu wo kan na obo akando di. Afia in all sincerity, akando ye adwuma se adwuma manu ada no ye NPP health minister. This obi a one person obeka no pre. This obi a one person obeka no pre. Akando is performing far better than adwuma manu ebra no ho no. Eti di asem ne ye ka no.
By what
So
measurement now they can say?
Look at the air cost or health sector. Even in case of in terms of employment, you look at it. Look at the number of nurses or more absorb any other. Share or more powerful fra nurses to go about any other. Share you 100. Hwese you 100 to come. Our force wa wetimanya clearance just wetima absorb kakra into the system. Any other. Share facilities in the idea omode eba. Nema enko ye the way I was handle no. Oko parliament now or hear the presentation now wo there. Look, let us be sincere. Mu ye young guys and mugu radio so amokata. So are you telling me say as a young guy no the wo party ba abaimu a wo mpese ye betima ma opposition amwo ti baba beti o maye de mu biana wo pese mre di NPP for de nkokrafo e na ba begina animu na afenuama eye nwunran e de ma o mayi edi ye besre nukre ni da ho a mumma yenka nukre na woka nukre a eno no nkyere se waka nukre nti Ghana for beka se waka nukre nti ento aba ma wo dabi enye sa na de
me no one e be Monday, but before be kono pandai ni this year na start here near kasa MPP for almost heading towards collapse. The we lose ablekuma, we lose akotia de ya na ma bra yi de ho adwendwen no akowi. Pressure more demand the issues that were going on no crowd before owu ye ni nyina were related to seat no ene ho manso ana pandai dia be MPP before abaso nyina dia to say pandai ni de lose ombe lose. Is MPP heading towards collapse and just said the chairman Janice kind no NDC crowd there they will never be collapsed. They just said that.
If you do one who is MPP a collapse. On shada ni anita on. MPP a collapse. Oh, wubwa a collapse.
And they say collapse.
Na efie ana me shati ya me ka say party a emu pedifo nyina obi ayesena ne ye kinkan wo mo sense e de kire yen hwe ye kufu asebo obeka ye wa hwe ombema do be 52 cents wa hwe ombema do 52 cents eti media party ni here I can tell you here emre bia na meka me say MPP is going to lose 4 consecutive elections and some baba back or my back.
Wow.
Because they are not strategic. Efia, there is no way. Me, United Party, ye pressure, ye beba. We are forcing, we are doing all we can. But as who say, who share the trajectory of Ghana elections from 1992? Ye to about Emma Party. Ayana Party ni tidy 2 times. And that's a tie. Every piano or muma 2 times. So on it, it is a whole planning as one planning ya. Now, what day? Usika wa hondi nyina akokoshe musa na wanke ya no akwakoloko okwan mu. So on it. We are preparing. Say nyankopɔ ya adom na se ba se ye ka ne say Ghana for say oh ye system our 2028 ye nim say United Party we are ready for that.
So NDC for sponsor mo na say mo ankasa mo hoden.
If ya sa se mu etie.
Alan Wosika.
Nanka say ubisa. Say nya wa we ye film lady panga. Answer na ga no be ba ngenye but we ye film lady.
Because before I dream be say oh we need help from NDC.
Oh that be ordinary there. Na I can say it on authority. 2016, Pika a free NDC for her, or the best sponsor, a MPP, no name is Katwa.
From NDC to MPP.
I am saying it on authority because I saw it. Sika every NDC mu 2016 at the best for two NPP no enya sika ketwa eti eya NPP for no munja sa anya twom na omo ye no so ne eche no na then 2020 elections NPP for muso sika de kokko sponsor e kan say kokoma NDC for yes enim 2024 2020
NDC for ma mu bia no so ye normal
what dey 2024 sika NPP for bi so ade kokoma NDC for no omo bi se enim eti what na ye no you saw Mbeka say NDC for a sponsor here. It's not true. Name say a true elections. That's what we all know. If you people make my win elections. No, Baba, my you can say sponsorship. I don't. You say young Kasani yesterday. Some catch us say Minambota region. A party argument in Amina. Party argument in Amina Mona doing. So on it, you know. Ye ko akwa ye adwuma bi obabi na masamba tena aba betwe ne ye ko eti no ye entrance ye adwuma ye try your best ye ankasa kakakatra na ye wo no eno ade de ye eti se ye nyankrofo na omuka se party de wona wo tika edan ma onko a wontimi rane party o ye den a wo kwa sponsors that so no ye ka se as we speak today I can say it on authority say there is not a penny from MP, you can say NDC say omudi a sponsor United Party. And channel the bobia and unisa. Yeah, they say yeah.
What me driving safely Monday ne one-on-one long.
Maminka you KPANDAI they no quick na. Bianco. KPANDAI say MPP program na say no nkrofo a omukiteska anka omudi be kosoro ho no. Wan hwa no munyina anko. Once MPP mu almost say anything northern region ayebawumia. Yeba we ni elections for northern region ayebawumia bibia so ana nyinda mu isusu a ne ho aba asemu ya omoba bekoyi. Wayi nanim edi bawumia chi den. Na odi bawumia chi no ede di beja delegation hono no aba betra hono so oye kambe ama.
Oh, okay.
Bredan for beja delegate ho no aba betra hono so oye kambe ama. Ana du twuma na check of the Japan. Eno any problem no so we dey no enti so musu nyina no enya hwio because say abuaka ba wumiansim kwaya obefa so obukwa kwa we ni honum yaba na fa confirm say sa north ye say ba wumiamba no eno adaye problem no enti so mo obulusu pandai ka ho dia na say onim say yi constituency so mo de koye eye be 5 o eye be 5 eti matise suhum ne eyi mu nyina akeka ho a chese di nyina no eni na ni na ku a wan hwe on ba beje eti so mo anhwe ya ebeduru ba bi no mu street na akoka be 82 be
yo hosting mama na as Monday why
so
Monday
that
drive safely walk on so mama why mpacho pa
so that
Obviously, I don't see MPP for any seat. I better 82 pe because
because one, I mean, you know, one thing is MPP had their opportunity to make sure say NDC and Kayentin and Kabim. You see, you can't deal with na MP, MPP for or no more a refi. Say, Mimi say, me na me to abama NDC that MPP for that opportunity of time and no much me use to JJ Emma. Ya dream say NDC is so bad. Not NDC near party so associated to home with no. Those were the time and not they had the opportunity say Omube breaking MP NDC totally once and for all. Said the Bayanka Omo party in the Bejina. Now the Oman to me and say Omu used to Ghanaians on that angle no. They fail to also attend to Ghanaians on your mouth more na Ghanaians every few more. They are cover way no. Say majority of Ghanaians, you know, are thinking say MPP always use Ghanaians for granted, especially youth. No, no, for all my party. Now me break I say a do baby a yenje me break one in town. Oh, yenja boni ma. When you boni be honest for Jamanica, because say what now upon chroma can say you see upon chroma nyabutre tre kwanya party ye first use nipa na say for what now we are wadwin say ebia bibia obejema mo aka. MPP is very known at that. Omuko opposition ye unity. Omoba power, omunim kofa, omo ebe yusu omama yejuma. And
Okay.
then they've been consistently using that against grassroots, no. Any oma omodi who same edisika kakrasi mu nkrasi. Omo mu ehwe nkrasi so no. Sefia nyomo na ewo Accra ne Kumasi ne you know. Ya won krofo bi won nkrasi on ma odo afuo na manage MPP no we krasi wo. But MPP ba because en cry for no na ye yinti no. Na tension ni akodi nkran Kumasi tema. Na nkrasi for no sika omudi wura mu bo aye nya no. Na se na ewia no mabeye yenka mom ye nya enye baako. Ne ye nya ye baako a ne ebetumi age power. Omoji power we are the same thing to me say me boni bi onum e wo party semu a ye jama nenka obi wo party no ye wadwen so no betweman so a ene ne nchia ma ne nti say ten somebody ka to say me man so this stuff ya mepe ene ne ntwema ne nti say ten because party no enye obi ad party ye ade a ye nya ye wram si ye benya fa hodie ye wram si ye be konkan se wa ma wani ambre wa ma wani anna na wo ye majema manaka de bia ye do sika bedwa nanka and MPP is well known of that. Omu sumaya woman, enti na ma omu struggle no eba na I say akwachi because nkofo di ya too much in terms of the way omu si handle omu ho. It is omu this is everywhere ebeboa but Steph ya me dey KPANDAI ho no. Me MPP egu a Steph ya enye wanwan. MPP say edu ben pension say be gu a enye wanwan because the Ghana ye hwehwe no eye say ye benya obi a obeba na obetumi achichire Ghana amana kone nim empempenso ne nya ye ho atoye eti say if obi ba no achichire oman no oman ne konkan na party bi be free ho no ma ye nya ye ho atoye ya I mean omo ya dey with ya party people for UP you can say bobo su bebre 92 omo de bete MPP omo betumi as to restructure no matic party for no ma come again but as it is now no Ghanaians in the youth the majority are wise and then they are able to analyze issue. They do logical reasoning. Say idea no on who say enkoya on ma sa me do party no enye dey encarnation na de bia no do party but na nye me konkan enye me kutia no obre na ye ko opposition ya be ye nkamum na step ya mdi twa to ba omia eye dey ya ye nua your honorable Ken odin kunim me medike ya ka ba omia ne strategy nya ne ye say onim say 2028 ontimi wene but or target 2032 enti so otimi nya 2028 na ekufo ado ko miensa meso me ko miensa that time no ebetumi aye dey afama no enti na ba ye no ekufo ado strategy ne bia ye call court oh me believe in results no but me jama naka but we the same thing me believe results no o man ho aye akono o man ho aye fefefe said the be at least obetumi hold on 2028 e dey 2032 but say o dem 2028 ma on abo kan dia and no Baumia is out of MPP. Into anyone who struggle for and yes, all struggle power.
Michael Mamina was a chairman. As I read the say video into one it before, but no say or can be about some WhatsApp platform. I think something that lawyer Samida Akon had alluded to
your
on
office who says anything. And I had asked Martin Pebu the
I
same question.
have it.
That why is it that he seems to believe anything anybody tells him?
Okay, voice me low into a original one and so that we can play it. But one interpreter yentio.
Yeah, sister Fia on the minion mic here. Minion mic here on the no contradicting him. Or the casa now or kababia yem pese ye crowd the NPP for yem person beba by mobile. Oh, we are no asking a question say yes support to Kenya Japan. So you see how it works. Until then, and until na bebri no kabi say or more bebri no mo share Kenya Japan chino. They are not true patriots, but some of them no NDC. Until just a there I can am there too. Because no one who believe purely in NPP. Ne bedru baby or bena say mem percent NPP beba. Okay, but na Kennedy upon oba on NPP ni. So ye NPP ni. But you are also insisting say NPP party ni free ho. Na your friend is party ba ko ne beba. Your man international na ebeye. But meanwhile you are also claiming you are part of Kennedy Japan. Fine. And no nanche miniaba it's a fact in terms of Jenny's video it happened last week me akra me will be on me in our WhatsApp platform, and it's part of something I make sure. And I hope sister fear never did yes in particular. What I just imagine say just over last weekend you na Sami da Koko kan sa OSP within about 5 days yani, and then one more timasax as suggest say yeah the private member bill parliament na ya ko repeal the law.
I've seen the private members bill no.
I'm ya ko repeal OSP. So you see, this is what some of us are envisaging and saying. NDC, any party, no, your mind and chichire no party na. Me who say oh my grimo. Me who say is they are trying to consolidate and embody and entrench some sort of system will be a bit protected NDC as a party, and that is also dangerous. Because the entire makers are no say when you look at the judiciary, all the cleansings are come, including the appointment of over 65 people into the various judicial setup. Or President Mahama Bai, this is the first time in Australia a president has returned above Bamua within a matter of 7 months, while appointing 65 judges. The whole tenure of President Kufuado of 8 years, my check any Ayarigasem or cancer or appointed 186 across the whole 4 years. If you divide it by this number now, it's around 22 people, 2 judges you can say per year. So if a president appoints and also or up to that number now, it tells you the mindset. At the same time, so she say, the moment ya OSP the buy and they are so President Mahama say OSP, your money time, there's no need to see a better rush say yenyi OSP in video. This is where the issue is you. Was there dentina abba say, oh, OSP yenya time kakramano, there's no point say you be call say why you mistake it cry be call say yes scrap one na yen repeat OSP. But and then now kai ye na no na numere ena yenya sa private member bill. Private member bill no before say President Mahama emeka sa no anopa na yarega aye interview with Joy. Waka say ne party ba no mo be ka kire ne say bia President Mahama pese okọ ne yeso onye ho ade a woni option obekọ de beko am yakoye den yakọ akoye ho adwuma. And look at those kind of things na ekoso no at the same time and who is a justice
your time no about 10
okay
it's area time.
And then when you say okay where they wrap here Mate what they wrap here justice same side and you where you issue the Facebook post quick or say yeah can private member bill ne one for debate na or say obi kura de asem na ko Supreme Court o siki say yen strike OSP the act not down. It tells you that there's a grand scheme agenda. I think that time call minti into the mechanism NPP for no. There is no need for NPP people to feed say your party no your group. We have gone through election cycle. This is the 5th elections here. NPP are called 4, NDC are called 4. Yen 4 when NPP dia 5 and this be obi case NPP agua. We have seen it all throughout this system. NPP is a party and yet on it was not formed on and obeka se nipa baako nipa bebre
next week get back to Monday nyampa mama na wati bebe one in time we are 30 minutes into producers in Yami Council abusa for yanda munyina se na kofi Yakopon yadma next week Monday we'll do a big show but yanda mo but ye nyina ye push say betimi nya proper security because say the ECOWAS no the we KPANDAI assembly but ECOWAS has issued a state of emergency for the entire West Africa. Until I say to me ye secure your borders no, so that we da ye bet me ada. And yet safe sir, ye da na ye to me ada. I mean I'm nyina say some join here with just media. So yakopon ya adoma ye bet to so next week. From me Vim lady, I said I come my platforms now. Omo peke any nyina High Life Radio, Kings Jersey Radio, Adapupa Media, Naspa Radio, Naspa Media ewo UK, and Migachu FM munyina yeda munyina masi. This has been okay. 101.7 FM from Vim lady. So thank you and good night. Thank you.